Yo, what is going on, guys? We are back with another episode of MogCast.
Episode number 45. We are joined.
Really quick, I apologize. I'm obviously not there. I'm over here in LA getting ready for Black Friday. But I just want to welcome Josh on the MogCast. And I appreciate... What's up, bro?
What's up, brother?
I appreciate Joe and Harry stepping in for me.
Of course,
so,
of course.
Hope you guys have a good episode. And let's run it up, boys. Fucking like and comment for the algo.
And review on Apple Music. All right.
That's true. I got to go. I'm making dope clothes over here, guys.
All right. Go design, bro.
Right,
peace out.
All right, boss man.
Peace.
All right. Thank you, Josh, for coming on. This is episode number 45. A little bit of a different podcast today because Sush is not joining us. So we're basically just going to drink and smoke a little bit.
Yeah, less else.
Yeah, tobacco, of course. And we're not smoking inside. This is an outdoor studio.
It's a green screen.
We're just going to basically shoot the shit. We might just do like a Q&A and answer some questions that you guys have and just go off on our own drunken tangents. So, how you doing, Josh?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm trying to survive this Texan heat.
Yeah, so you're coming from England?
Yeah, I'm English.
Which part?
Bred. I'm born in a place called Gloucestershire, which we call the Cotswolds, the countryside. So
Okay.
lots of farmland and lots of villages.
It sounds like fake.
It's like the closest thing.
Gloucestershire.
So you've never been to the UK.
Gloucestershire. The thing I can liken it most to is like Hobbiton in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that's what it
The
sounds like.
Shire.
That's the Shire, Gloucestershire.
Yeah.
When was your first time in the?
Wait, so he actually lives in the Shire?
When was your first time in the States? What
Uh,
age?
maybe 17 or 18.
Damn.
Dropped in real quick, 3 or
How
4 days.
old are you now, for
I'm
reference?
29 now.
29.
I'm getting
There you
on.
go. But you want to give like a quick rundown, like you're an IFBB pro, correct?
I'm an IFBB pro.
What brings you here to Houston? Give us the quick rundown for the fans who don't know.
Yeah, so I'm out here in America competing. I just did the Tampa Pro, and then I did the Texas Pro in Dallas. So we were in Dallas last week, and we full sent it and drove the 4 hours at like midnight after the
After
thing
the show.
down to
Oh,
Houston, and we're here now.
Dang.
And my shows are over for this year, and I'm ready.
I was gonna say, so now it's full off season
so we
mode.
can relax.
How did you?
So now it's
Have some
tequila
fun.
time.
How did you?
Yeah.
Go pass me that?
Let's go.
How'd you do in the Tampa and Dallas?
So
shows?
Tampa, I got first call outs, which was crazy because Tampa's a big
That's a huge
show.
show.
It's
Yeah.
my first year as a pro, so I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
Texas, I got second call outs, much harder show, much deeper show, and
What was the time difference in between shows?
a week.
Did you feel like you were
Damn.
tighter?
Yeah, I got better. I got
you,
better.
sir.
Better?
100% got better. That's what I was happy with. It just not good enough yet. Simple.
So which division are you competing in?
Men's physique.
Men's physique?
Yeah.
Dude, men's physique is getting fucking stacked.
Dude, there's
big
times
boys.
I turn up to shows and the men's physique guys, like, or the classic guys, they weigh in, they miss weight, they go put shorts
They go
on.
men's
They
physique.
go put shorts on.
Yeah,
There's
and
no
then
weight.
there's some guys that like they're taking open bodybuilder cycles, but they're like, I'm not big enough for open. I'm just gonna do men's physique. There's no weight limit there.
Are you ever gonna do men's physique again, James?
No, fuck no.
Not right.
I got so when I went into my show, or Kyle's plan for me was you don't have enough size to go pro classic, but you might have enough size to go pro in men's. So compete in
That's why you did
both.
both, yeah.
You're doing classic
Yeah.
for fun, and then you'll do men's to get your pro card. And actually, the
So
reverse
he-
happened.
Oh wow! So he actually thought you were gonna go pro men's physique.
Yes. Yeah, because the classic guys, you might think they're bigger because it's
Yeah.
classic, but the men's physique guys are
No,
fucking
they're
stacked,
fucking
bro.
huge. Look at Alex Toplin, bro.
Yeah.
You literally,
I know.
looks like open.
Unbelievable.
But here's the thing: you guys both have your IFBB Pro cards, meaning if you want to switch to Classic, in
can.
theory you can just jump
You
right
can,
in.
yeah.
Is that
Okay,
something that
I'll
you
pass it.
have in mind?
Yeah, one
Be the
day.
passer.
One day.
Yeah. So that's pretty crazy. So you can go pro in men's, and then
In
2-3
theory.
years later, as long as the rules stay the same, then you could just jump into a Classic lineup.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
for
can
sure.
do. Yeah, a pro card is a pro card.
Right,
It doesn't
right,
say IFBB Pro men's physique. It just says IFBB Pro. So you could go do open. You could go do classic. For me, the reason that I liked classic more was just because of the posing. There was more freedom to pose, and I felt like I could show off my legs, which
for
at
sure.
first I thought was a weak spot. But as I got more and more defined, it ended up becoming like a strong spot. So I think the reason I got 5th in first call outs in men's, but then I got 2nd in first callouts in classic, and all you need is second now for
the
a pro card. And there's been a lot of controversy around that.
Yeah,
you guys have probably seen. And I've gotten like,
Yeah,
I guess
how you been dealing with like the videos people are making saying like,
most of them are on TikTok, and I don't really use TikTok, so I don't really see them. But I've just heard from people, there's been controversy, and it's like, yo, I wasn't going into the show trying to win. I wasn't trying to win a classic pro card. I was just going in for fun because I like the fucking division. I didn't mean people are acting like I fucking paid off some guy. Hey, can you please not compete because you're probably gonna beat me? Like, no, I didn't. I just showed up and did my thing, and I ended up getting second. So, like,
I mean,
whether
you
I deserved
it, bro. You deserved it.
There's always controversy no matter what. It doesn't matter. It's just that you're high profile. Like, no matter, in every show, there's like, how did this guy get third and this guy got fifth? There's always like that, but just like because it's a talking point for people, I think it's just
and then there
to
were people that were saying it's politics that you got your pro card because you're well known. And I'm like, dude, these judges are like 70. They have no fucking clue who I am. And they don't give a shit about, you got an Instagrammer coming on stage. You better give him second. I think what it was is that Kyle, my coach, drilled in posing. Because 3 weeks out is when he visited. He actually came down and visited and stayed here for a week. And he's like, dude, your posing is fucking shit. So it was like, he did 3 sessions a day. I'm sure you know, even for men's, it's only like really front and back. But still the effort that people put into their men's routine
transitions
is just,
and it stands out like a sore thumb on stage. You can see that with those people who nail it.
And that's me. I was the guy who didn't really practice men's because I didn't care for the division. Like, I wanted to show, I just liked classic more. I look up to people like C-Bum, Breon. So I practiced my classic pose. I mean, Kyle, it was like boot camp. 3 times a day, 15 minutes each session, just going through the posing over and over and over.
You were smooth, bro, for real.
But do you
for
remember
your first show? You looked very smooth.
Remember the first time I posed? I think you were filming it.
Yeah, it was just a little stiff.
A little stiff. Yeah. So, but I didn't really practice men's. It was I think I was 3 days out, and Weston, who's competed in men's a bunch of time, that's when I first started practicing for men's. I was 3 days out. So I kind of just went up there, did my thing, and I just looked weird. But then Vaughn Walker, who practices posing a ton, he had this great flow to him.
Right.
Yeah, he did.
And he was just going through his posing so well.
I think, like, to your point, like the fact that some people are at the top of the pro ranks and they still don't know how to pose is pretty telling, like how they don't really factor it in as much. As long as, say, you can hit your poses and your mandatories and show your physique off well, like, do you feel like, even though men's is pretty far removed from classic in that sense, that posing actually means thing, do you think that physique men should head in that direction?
I think the presentation is a big part of it, to be honest. I've always been, that's the kind of thing that drew me into it, was the presentation of everything. So I like to see a lot of weight on it. If you're just that person who's going to come on, you're going to work that hard. Make that many sacrifices to your health, to your life, to your family, to anything that comes within the scope of, pursuing something like that. You're going to go and not smile and not enjoy it, and you're going to crab over, and you're not going to show off your physique how it should be showed off.
Right.
You're doing yourself a disjustice.
Yeah. If you're going to work that hard on making your body look like that, you got to showcase it correctly.
Exactly, because there's going to be someone who could look worse than you, but show it off better, and it's going to stand out.
How often do you practice your posing before a show?
So it definitely increases, like, the better you look, right? Obviously,
The
more you see your abs, the more you're going to tense them a little bit. But like it actually is easier. Men's physique is going to be easier, so I'm not going to have to pose, like, for example, in the corner over there, Joe, IFBB Pro, Joe Brighty, what he had to do for classic, because he was a men's physique pro first, then transitioned to classic. Watching him go through that process, like the classic is like a level up in terms of how much you got to pose. So for me, I could post 8 weeks out every day. I'm good. But when you got to put routines.
But you said classic is something that down the line you might be more interested in.
For sure. When I'm at that level, it's big, as I'm sure you know, like those guys at the top level. Ultimately, next time you go on stage, it could be getting C-Bum. That's the level now. Do you know what I mean? It's stupid. Like, so
it's crazy.
Why would I go in there and come in at a lower level, or what I perceive as a lower level? I'd much rather go.
Yeah, and you can tell the people that have. It's kind of like the people in high school that are like, I don't really need to study because I'm intelligent. is the same guys that go in thinking, I don't really need to pose because I've got good genetics.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened at my show. I started out, well, they first lined us up for first call-outs, and I was towards the end. But because it had just been drilled into me for the last 3 weeks, 3 sessions of posing every day, I was able to hold my poses, which before I would have gassed out after 30 seconds. But first call-outs was very stacked, so they were posing us a lot. They were moving people around, comparing us side by side. And because I was able to hold, especially that front relaxed is the most bullshit term for a pose I've ever.
You were out there for a while, bro.
Front relax. It's front flex every fucking muscle. Yeah, seriously. Like you're out there, you're supposed to look. You have like this little condescending kind of grin on your face. Not condescending, but kind of cocky. Like, yeah, this shit's easy.
You're breathing through your teeth.
No, literally. Meanwhile, you're breathing through your nose because you have this little grin. You're like, yeah, this shit's easy. But that front relax pose is fucking tough. Yeah. So when they put you through your poses, and then you naturally, when they don't call out any pose, you're supposed to naturally go into front relaxed. And they're kind of they're taking their time looking, oh, what about these guys? Oh, what about these guys? I don't know, maybe we switch them. And they're like talking to each other. And meanwhile, you're fucking dying up on stage. And that first call outs, we must have been posing for like 8 or 9 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Which doesn't sound like much, but if you try flexing as hard as you can for 10 minutes straight. It's like, I was just, all the spray tan was just like dripping off at the end. Yep. So I kept getting moved closer to the center until eventually I was second because the guy who was in third was not able to hold his poses. So he looked great at first, but then that front relax, it started to fade. He started just, he just looked soft. Obvious. Yeah. But then people come out and they're like, oh, you only won that because of your fucking following.
I have a question for you. How old were you when you thought that this is something you wanted to pursue as a career?
Like the bodybuilder side?
Yeah.
25.
You were 25.
25.
So you've been at this for roughly...
yeah, like I would say I pursued the dream like naturally for a couple years, and then I quite quickly came to realization it's probably not going to be possible.
Not going to fucking happen.
And I was like, that was like 25. So that's 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
And I was like, right.
So how long have you been lifting? Like, when did you first step into the gym?
16, but as part of like sports academies.
Yeah, right.
They'll do like your bench press and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So once you broke off from sports, you just continued lifting because you enjoyed it?
Exactly. I love that program. I actually snapped my ligaments in my knee, but so the only thing I could do was continue with the upper body conditioning because I played a lot of rugby.
And then men's physique just.
I was like, oh, I just had little legs. So I was like, perfect.
I'm gonna put board shorts over these bitches. Yo, cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Oh,
shit. Thanks for having me.
Of course, bro.
Salut.
Oh fuck!
So you said, when did you give up? How old were you when you then stopped like training for sports and then started transitioning just to like looking good?
So that's when I went to university. Probably 18 was when I started going, right, I'm gonna start this bodybuilding thing. Yep. Started discovering YouTube. Started discovering the people on YouTube. Guzman, obviously, the GOAT. Matt Ogus, the OGs.
Yeah. So you're in there, right? Too. Just
Legends of Aesthetics, LOA. That was my era.
Were you just watching them, or did they inspire you to pick up a camera yourself at that time?
So I was watching with like just the biggest seed growing in my brain of like, you've got to fucking do this, but like, I just couldn't do it for a very, very long time. Social anxiety, issues with just like facing just doing it. I just couldn't do it.
Have you noticed how different it is? Because some of these really good YouTubers, when they talk to the camera, it's just like they're talking to a friend.
Yeah.
And you don't even notice how kind of hard that is if you've never done it before, because you might think, oh, I'm good with people. I'm a good talker. But as soon as you pick up a camera and point it at your own face and you just see that lens staring back at you, you're like, it's like you choke, you know?
It's literally me today. Like I'm filming my first vlog today.
Yeah. And you're already established.
I have a full-blown podcast. And for some reason, like filming with my vlog camera has been so hard today, just like fumbling words and like feeling like, oh, let me do that again.
So for me, it was when I got Kenny to edit my videos, that was like overcoming the same barrier again. Because when I edited my own videos, I was stumbling, but then I would remind myself, oh, I can just edit all this shit out. Yeah. So I would literally vlog and be like, hey, what's up, guys? Hey, what's up, guys? And just do like 3 takes.
I did that today like fucking 20 times.
Yeah. But now with when I first got with Kenny, it was like, oh shit, someone else is gonna see how fucking stupid I
like
am.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
He's not gonna want to work.
So
with you
I would have to. Kenny's probably laughing hearing this, but instead of just picking up and filming and doing as many takes as I needed, I would put the camera down and not film until I'd already rehearsed what I was gonna say. And that happened for the first few videos, but then once I got to know him better, and once I realized through his editing style that we clicked well. Now you see, dude, if he has a collection of all the extra clips on his computer, he could fucking embarrass me. I mean, there's just times where I literally will sit there going for like 3 minutes straight.
It's just that first initial step to like just do it is always the hardest. Like, because you know you wanna. Like I know I've been wanting to start YouTube for a while, but just getting started is the hard part. But
just the skill.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Is like you are getting back into it right now. You've been doing it for a long time, but you still struggle with the same thing. So like, when did you start?
I will say that it gets way easier. Is what I was trying to say. Is like now at this point, like you're always, regardless of how experienced you are or how skilled you are in front of a camera, you're never going to be able to say everything that you want to say in one fluid take.
Yeah.
Because that's not even true when you talk to a person. Like even if there's no camera on you, if you're talking
but
to
you
a
can't
person,
just be like, I forget what I just said. Like,
yeah, exactly. And like honestly, the difference in talking style between a vlog and real life is way more different than I think people notice. Because when you talk to someone in real life, there's a lot of, you guys talk over each other, you guys stutter, you guys forget what you were going to say, and then you go off on a tangent, then you get back to the topic. So that you think that's all you have to do when you pick up a camera, but it's actually different. It's not just like talking to a friend. You actually have to be very focused on what you're saying, because you don't want to just bore people and just stutter over yourself, you know?
I think a little bit of it might have to do with the fact that like you're speaking to an audience of, in your case, 100,000 or something like that, where like you're never having a conversation with that many people. So you're constantly thinking about like how it might be perceived by an infinite amount of people. Whereas if you're in a conversation with one or two people, you know exactly how they might feel about the things that you say. Whereas like, you know, like
no one's talking back.
Right.
You're just talking. And you're like,
I mean, if you had 2 subscribers on YouTube and they were both your friends, it would probably be easier to talk to the camera.
Exactly.
Because you could just fuck around and be like, yo, I know it's only you guys watching. But when you know you have this huge following watching your videos, it's like, it's not that you have to be careful about what you say, but just in terms of the flow, you have to become more conscious of not boring people. Like you're not going to bore someone in a conversation if you're having a face-to-face conversation with them. But if you're watching a screen of someone, it's very easy to get bored, right? Once you learn about audience retention, and you can go on YouTube to your video and see where you had a drop off of viewers. And usually it's during a long monologue that's unedited, where you're just talking about dumb shit that probably didn't need to be in your video. And people are just like, I gotta go to work, you know, I gotta go to bed. Like, what the fuck am I doing watching this guy? And I think that's why, for me at least, it was so helpful to get an editor
who's thinking about that stuff.
Exactly, because when you're watching your own video, you're like, well, I gotta include all this because I said it. But when you just send it to an editor and forget about all the shit that you said, he's gonna, what Kenny said is, if I'm getting bored watching it, I delete it. So it's like having someone like that to watch it from an unbiased perspective and be like, this is boring as fuck. I'm just going to remove this whole part is really helpful. But
and someone you trust to curate it as well.
Exactly, yeah. But when you're first getting started into it, it's like people don't have the budget to like hire an editor and, you know.
Yeah. I'm not ready to hand off anything yet to someone else. Like I
want
to control.
It's kind of different with you because you already edit all your own shit.
Yeah, so it's going to be funny when I sit down and like watch myself because I'm used to like editing other people. So
have you edited your own YouTube video before? Or is this your first one?
No, I have, but nothing like that. Like these are like actual like long vlogs and stuff. So
yeah, because I was gonna say the only thing I would recommend is edit it, take a break, go do something else, and then watch the video back.
Yeah, watch it with fresh eyes.
If you start to daydream as you're watching your own video, cut out whatever part that is. That's the biggest thing. Is sometimes I'll watch people that are trying to come up in the industry. I'll skim through their video and it's just like, man, you're talking about a whole lot of nothing right now.
How many subs do you have, Josh, right now?
58,000.
58. And how long have you been doing it for?
Probably 5 years as well.
5 years?
Yeah. Long time.
Has it been steady growth, ups and downs?
Completely steady.
Have you done it all yourself or do you have another you work with?
I have a guy now. I've worked with him for the last 18 months actually. Just kind of went through it. And it definitely changed things. It kind of increased that speed. The snowball obviously kept rolling, but everything has been completely just normal.
Just
nothing
steady,
has been viral. Nothing has been like.
But it's mostly
no
vlog.
breakthroughs. Just consistent. But like actually, it's a strong. It's a strong audience. Like
definitely
they come in hard. Is it
vlog content mostly?
I try and find the balance as much as possible. Education, probably more education based. I try and bring the actual why you should be doing shit, like on a layman's terms to people. I think you can really complicate stuff. People like the hypertrophy coach, Coach Kassim. There are some amazing people that you can learn from. I think I'm pretty good at breaking it down in layman's terms. So I try and do that as much as possible.
That's good. What was your first YouTube video? Do you remember?
Oh my god, probably me going to the camera and some sort of string
transformation.
Was it a
natural
no
transformation? Yeah, no talking, just motivational music, probably some trance.
I think that's the way people usually get into it because they're like, well, I don't know how to talk in front of me. I'll just film myself. I'll film myself doing just what I know how to do. Yeah, fucking working out.
You probably look sick.
Cheers.
I felt like I did.
Yeah.
Oh, this is fucked.
Yeah. All right. Good night. All right. Cheers.
All right.
This for Sush.
I mean, there's not many like massive UK fitness influencers, right? So like, I felt that.
Brandon Harding.
Yep, there's Brandon. So you've collabed with Brandon before, yeah?
Yeah. We're acquaintances.
Yeah.
We know each other.
Do you live in the same area?
Not too far away. We've met a good few times.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So who else like in the UK is doing it at that level? Because 60K.
Nathaniel is getting up there. Nathaniel Messiah.
Yeah. Nathaniel Messiah.
He has good views. He's collabed with Brandon a few. Or he's actually sponsored by Brandon's company.
He is. He is. Hard body.
Because you got to be up there. I mean, other than like what Matt does fitness and like some of the OG
Matt does fitness, but he doesn't. Does he live in the UK still?
Yeah, he still lives there.
Okay.
He still lives there.
And then besides that, I mean, the guy who runs the biggest fitness, fitness brand, clothing company in the world, but he doesn't make content all that much.
But his content when he does make it,
it's very good. It's very good.
Well, he does it right.
Editor, but
and the budget's pretty fat.
I was gonna say I would argue the budget's pretty good. I'll give you $50,000 to make this 2-minute video. Make it fucking amazing.
It's so good.
But what's funny is we live in the States, and I think we get used to how big states are compared to European countries. Because there's a reason people do Europe tours, and it's because you can drive between each country, right? And England is not that much. I mean, I don't think it's even the size of Texas.
No. You could fit England like 4 or 5 times in Texas.
Yeah. So people are forgetting, like, this is not like the United States versus an equally sized country. There's only, I don't know how many millions of people that live there. So there's not many.
A fraction of the influencers and a fraction of the fitness influencers. Exactly. So, I mean, like, all right. So here's a question for you. How many? Like
28 mil.
No, what, in England?
Yeah.
No, 65 million.
65.
Yeah, but
there's
like
pretty bad.
Here's there like what, 350?
300. Yeah, about 330, 340.
Yeah. Would you say in England it's more competitive or collaborative out there with the influencers?
Competitive.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's really like we notice the difference, and we talk about it all the time while we've been here. We notice the difference. It's like being welcomed home. Yeah. Like people seem to want to help everyone. People want to get to them.
Well, also I will say, I don't think that's exclusive to Houston, but I think it's a big thing in Houston.
No, I've heard we heard that a few times.
And it surprised me a lot because your whole life you're taught competition is like you got to handle it. It's business, you know.
Yeah.
But in Houston, the whole culture here is different. And even with people that are super rich, like Christian Guzman, I mean, you're talking. He mentioned on the last podcast 120 million in sales this year. Yeah. But even he,
sit right here.
I mean, he's
and talk to you guys like you're right there. You know.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. But even with him being as good of a businessman as he is, he still puts on for his friends. Yeah. So at Alpha Land, you've got Inaka, I think it's still there. You got Buff Bunny. You got Max Tuning's brand. Ever Forward, you got Sour Strips in there, so he's still like supporting his friends, even though they're direct competitors. And Naka, you could argue, is a direct competitor, but he's, and I appreciate this. Is his view is like, well, bro, Alpha Elite's not it's not taking any sort of L from
You're
Inaka.
you're going quicker together than if you guys are like fucking competing against each other.
To your point though, I mean that is the environment and the atmosphere here in Houston, right? Like, so that collaborative effort is now felt among the generation 2, generation 3s, and like that's sort of the culture that he's built very purposefully. So, but like that's not the case.
I think
I can't
right. No, but
else.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is like, I don't think it's exclusive to Houston, but I definitely notice it the most here.
Definitely.
Versus in a place like LA.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just cutthroat,
LA's
bro.
different. Yeah.
LA's different. So, and even Miami, anywhere else that has some sort of fitness scene, you know, it's very like snobbish almost.
Yeah,
like,
that's the right
they
word
made
for
this
it.
kind of content. But over here, even though some of the content, I'll be honest, I think is cringe sometimes.
Sure.
And I think everyone does. I still appreciate the fact that it's collaborative. I'd rather have collaborative, supportive, cringe content any day over detrimental, tearing other people down, competitive content, you know?
No, definitely out here specifically, like it's like there's a million content creators, a million photographers, videographers, but like it's almost like, yo, bro, how can we work together? Let's make something together.
Yeah.
Like me and Corey, shout out Corey. Like we're making videos together now, and it's awesome. You know, I'm not looking at Corey like, oh, fuck that guy.
Because you
like,
both help each other.
He does the same thing as me. Like, no, everyone's a different creator.
Sorry to cut you off, but this just put me on the idea. When are you moving here?
Oh,
Is that a ginger ale?
That was going to be my
when
question.
I find an American wife,
so
get myself a green card.
No, that brings you, the question I was going to ask.
Get yourself a Southern girl, bro.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Get yourself a
girl.
Southern girl. They're all godly and
they're down.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Like I mean, specifically here, but the US is like, if you want to pursue bodybuilding, fitness, social media as a career, there's only one place to be. And so like, I know it's not as easy to
You think Houston?
I mean, like the US and then
States,
Houston specifically.
Yeah. I mean, you can. That's not to say that you can't be successful overseas.
Not at all. I mean, he's
look
very
at,
clearly successful overseas, but I'm
Yeah,
saying if
yeah.
you came here in a year, you might double in everything, every single way.
That's been running through my head.
Also, I think it's. I think the accent's endearing, bro.
Yeah.
People like that
100%,
UK, that
100%.
deep.
Maybe that's what it is.
100%.
Yeah.
We do
Hey,
get
take
it. We do
advantage
get
of
it quite a lot. I'm like, hello.
Do you feel like
and then you're
I'm
in,
from London
and then
I
there's the
drink
number.
tea.
do you feel like
Have my
do you feel like
biscuits.
fans are more supportive overseas? Because
Because
from an outside looking in, like even like concerts, I feel like overseas concerts are always like bigger.
Sports
The
teams,
fans are more into
sports
it. Like
teams.
sports,
I can't say that I've met many fans. I'm going to be honest.
Out here?
I probably met like 4 or 5.
Yeah,
they're pretty nice
They're
people.
pretty
everyone's
sexy,
But I
I'd
mean, when you
say.
meet fans, they are.
It's crazy. Like they didn't know you were here.
I feel like overseas, like the people who are just so much more like supportive. Like they're so into it.
Yeah.
I will
No matter
say
what it
that,
is, like-
yeah, I will say people that I've met overseas tend to be less snobbish. Not to use that word again, but people that I've met in Europe, especially Australia.
Been to Australia?
Australia is a big one.
My dad was born there.
Oh, that's fucking
Yeah,
sick.
so he's basically English.
Fun fact. Wow.
But his great grandfather was a convict, and they moved all the convicts from England to
Australia.
Australia, and then they all fucked each other, and now you've got Australians.
Oh, okay.
So they've all got a little bit of fucking crazy in them. But
Damn, that's crazy.
so I've been there 4 times. I'm going this New Year's. I got a bunch of
damn.
family
Cool.
over there, but
Nice.
the people over there you either meet very nice, warm, welcoming people, or you meet the biggest dickheads you will ever meet, bro. I remember while I was over there, a little side story here. Someone was driving like a dumbass, and my dad is 74, so at this point he must have been like 68. And someone was driving like a dumbass. He went over and met them at the gas pump and cussed them out and said, "You're a fucking dumbass," whatever.
Damn.
And her boyfriend, about 10 minutes later, came back, found us, and smacked my dad in the face.
Oh
and I'm
my
like 14
gosh.
years old. And bro, I have never seen some shit like that in the US. For as violent as we are, it's like this guy was like on a different level.
Yeah, I would
He was
never
like
do
cracked
that.
out.
I would never do it to anybody. Holy
So, I mean, he didn't look right. He looked like he was on
Oh, okay.
something. But we've met a couple other people there that are just like complete assholes. It's funny that there's only those 2 sides of the spectrum versus in the States is like everyone's basically right in the middle.
But I
Yeah.
think
You
the
either are
reason
the
for that-
nicest people in Australia or the most dickheads.
I think the reason for that, I mean, Australia is different because it's a giant country as well. But like in the countries with a smaller population, like you are very like it's almost like there's not as much room to fence it. So you have people on one end of the extreme or the other. So like specifically for being a fan of influencers, bodybuilding, like you have the people who are a really big fan of it. So that's going to be a lot of your support. And there's people that are just on the end that doesn't care. So like, I don't know. I think like that's why you get so much support there, because you have like people identifying strongly with that in a smaller populace.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And like people are smaller there. Is that isn't that a thing, right?
What?
Like in
physical.
Yeah, in like India, isn't like bodybuilding huge? Like
Yeah.
Bodybuilding's pretty big.
Because when bodybuilders show up there, it's like a freak of nature is like here. Like,
but I would also argue that that's because India's second world. So there's a huge population there. They've got like 1.8 billion people.
Yeah.
So
like bodybuilders are like aliens when they show up. It's
but
like,
there's a huge population of people in India that are malnourished from birth because they don't have money. So, and I'm talking like hundreds of millions of people are like that. Yeah. So when you have the people that, not to offend any of my Indian watchers, but if you have, just a select few people that are bodybuilders that show up, they're just not even going to look right. Versus over here, the standard of living is higher on average. So even your average 9-to-5 worker might still hit the gym and look kind of buff. But over there, I think it's a little bit different, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
But I put a poll up on my story. I wanted to...
Shout out Las Celts.
Let's see what we got.
Soon.
Q&A.
Are you done to talk about gear?
Yes, do it.
Let's go. What's your craziest cycle you've ever taken?
Craziest cycle.
Like stupidest, most overboard because you didn't know anything.
I would say I'm pretty lucky. I never did that because I had the right guidance from the start. But like the biggest cycle was probably actually in 2019 when I first went for my pro card. So I took less gear this year and last year than in that first year.
Why is it? Why do you think you went overboard that first year?
I think because the education around steroids maybe not here, but in the UK really progressed.
Yeah.
Like real education,
Definitely did here
real too. Like we call it like a safer use model. It's become like very, very strong in the UK, and it's something that we all kind of adopt and use at the moment, which we can talk about. We can talk for hours about it. But man, I probably ended up on about 450 test, probably 400 mast, 400 primo, 400 tren. That wrecked me. That wrecked me.
How did you orals at all?
Feel?
50 Anavar, 50 Winstrike. T3.
How much did you grow in that cycle?
T3, T4, Clem.
Holy
I mean, I bet that's not
you don't
too
even
crazy
gotta
compared to some of the open cycles, but compared to I'm thinking
was
about how
strong.
much I took.
That was silly, yeah. That was silly.
And that was just for men's.
Yeah, that was silly. That was
about
just
that.
like
That's a men's physique.
That's
like
a
it wasn't all at once, so like it probably started at probably like half of that,
Yeah.
maybe a third of that.
Yeah.
Just,
You taper up.
Upped it up.
Did you just feel so like mentally, like where were you at?
At the end, you just think, yeah, I could stop right now.
Yeah.
This is probably a bit too much.
Yeah, have you? So what I noticed, this is my prep cycle was by far the heaviest shit I've ever taken.
Yeah.
And towards the end, I felt actually toxic.
That's
like
that's what we said. We said that you just feel like I need to stop injecting.
Like
I
mentally
don't-
or physically?
No, physically.
Yeah,
feel
physically.
like
Like
you
you
have
feel
poison in your body.
inflamed.
It's weird. Yeah.
Like your injections hurt. Like
And it's just like, you know when you're like about to start getting sick, but you haven't gotten the sniffles yet, but you just kind of have that feel like your body's coming down with something.
Yeah.
It's like that kind of 24/7. And I don't know. I think the starvation probably plays some sort of role there.
Yeah, you're
but it's
depleted
also towards those last 2 weeks. Usually, it's the 2 weeks where you throw in that super heavy shit like Halo, and it's just it's like a fucking nuclear bomb on your liver. And this is like if there's ever to be a nuclear bomb on your liver, it should be the last 2 weeks of prep. Like this is the time.
If that, yeah.
Right. This is the time to push the envelope. But you just feel it. Like I don't know exactly how to explain it besides how I just said. It's kind of like this background feeling like you're coming down with something. And I think it's because your liver is so butt fucked.
Everything.
That it's just
Liver,
everything.
liver,
Your
yeah.
liver,
cholesterol.
kidneys.
And you're like anxious about the show and everything like that every day,
Yeah.
especially your
And
last
starved.
week of
Starving.
Yeah, like the last week of prep, you're mentally at your worst, you're physically at your worst, like, but you look the craziest. Like it's insane.
What was both of you guys? What was your worst
Prep moment?
Yeah, I don't want to say side effect, but like what was the worst
Mine was a
experience
bad
you had?
injection. Bad injection.
Ooh, how'd that go?
I did.
Wait, real quick. What, for those of you, Pin, which is honestly a fair bit of our viewers, what size needle were you using? What length and what gauge?
Oh god, I couldn't tell you. It was a 1 mil insulin pen with.
Is an insulin.
It was an insulin?
Yeah, that's what I use. I only use insulin.
Everything.
Pretty
I only use that for TRT.
Well, in off season I can probably get away with just insulin because I just inject every day, right? And you do 1 mil every day.
Right.
If you're going to use Primo or something. But yeah, in prep, I got to use a 2 mil barrel and something a little bit bigger. I just go by the colors, so maybe like
was it orange or blue or something?
Yeah, so orange is the insulin, and then blue might be different colors. Yeah.
Well, let's just assume you're using a 23 gauge. That's pretty.
Where were you pinning it?
It was the leg, so I tried to do the top of the leg, the piriformis.
Yeah.
I got told that this was the place, this was the spot.
Oh no, that is not the spot, bro.
This is the spot.
That's the tiniest muscle on your body.
You're not gonna feel it. So I do my normal. I'm like, cool. Didn't feel it. Went straight in. I'm thinking, cool. And then the next day, I just wake up and I'm just like, I'm red from about like a third of my leg.
Yeah.
And then I ring the doctor. I'm thinking, yeah, right. Draw a line around it. So I draw a line around it. And he's like, check it every hour. I check it next hour, and it's just crept down.
Oh fuck.
I check it every hour. It's crept down, and it gets all the way to my knee, to the point where my knee is like double the size. And I remember where I ejected.
Wait. How far out were you from the show?
4 weeks. So so I have to do my cardio. I have to walk. I have to keep my steps, like your baseline body rate up. So I injected up here, down to my knee is swollen. This is dark red. I've actually got a thumbnail. I can send you the picture. I've got a thumbnail. It's dark purple.
So your whole thigh.
Yeah, my whole thigh.
So what happened? It wasn't some sort of infection?
So yeah, I mean, I got given antibiotics at the time.
Just
because
like
they were like,
in
right,
case it was
if
in case it's
that, then you gotta do what you got to do. So I had antibiotics, and I was 4 weeks out. I limped around 10,000 steps a day. I could barely bend my knee. I couldn't do
That's
the cardio.
fucking commitment right there, bro.
I was just stupid, man. But honestly, my leg was.
Wait, was this last prep?
No, it was 2019. This was
the
first
prep.
Yeah, the heavy cycle.
Yeah, you probably needed to rotate.
Or the first
shit ton of muscles.
Yeah.
What about you, James? What was your worst experience?
What,
prep?
pinning?
Just in general, not just pinning, but on prep.
I honestly, like, my baseline's pretty low. I stay pretty lean when I'm bulking. I don't have a big appetite, so things didn't really start to get hard until about 3 weeks out. I would just say it strained my romantic relationship. Like, that was the biggest part. Is my girlfriend was worried that I was like losing feelings for her.
You become distant because
you're just losing feelings in general. It's not like
exactly.
It's hard for It's hard
so
to
you become very unemotional because exactly, and your body is like, you can't worry about sex, you can't worry about love, you can't worry about happiness, sadness, anything.
About moving.
Just worried about food, bro. You got to eat more. You're starving. So that's the only thing that it's subconsciously, it's always there, is this hunger. And I think Gianna, obviously, like, she's never been with someone who's done bodybuilding, and it's like a very rare state to be in where you're starved that much for such a long period of time, that she was like worried things weren't going to go back to the way they were. And I shit you not, within 3 days of eating what I wanted,
right back.
I'm like, I'm a simp, bro. I'm like cuddling her and stuff. I love you.
my head again.
Let's go eat. Where do you want to go?
No, so fucking great. Oh no, truly. Like, as soon as, dude,
food literally like changes your mood. It's a real thing.
I didn't reverse, actually, and I'm only up about 5 pounds from stage weight. But that's because I've lost some fullness. I've lost some water retention in my muscles, and I've gained some fat.
How'd you feel about that?
What?
How'd you feel about that? Like,
not reversing?
Yeah. Like, do you feel good in yourself? Are you happy?
Yeah. I mean, people kept kind of warning me that you got to be careful with your reverse. You have to take it seriously because you're going to binge if you don't. And I think that is true for 99% of people. But I think subconsciously I just knew I'm not the binge type of person. Even if people say, oh, you're different after you come off prep, I'm just not. So because my stomach is just small genetically or something.
You don't eat regardless. Like,
so I was starved coming. Yeah, exactly. I was starved coming off of prep, but then I would have like 2 pancakes and some eggs and bacon, and I'm good. Like, I'm full. And it continued that way for the second day, third day, fourth day. Well, it's lucky, except when I'm trying to bulk, which is the majority of the year, right? Would you rather have 40 weeks of the year be hard, or would you rather have 12 weeks of the year be hard?
Yeah.
But luckily for cutting, it is that way. And I didn't reverse really at all. I kind of stuck to it for a couple of days, but then I'm like, dude, fuck this. I've been doing this for 12 weeks. I just want to eat what I want. I want to go on dates.
Would you say it's harder for you to bulk?
100%.
Yeah, because you don't like eating that much.
Yeah, I mean, prep was hard. Don't get me wrong. But to bulk properly is way harder for me. So, but yeah, I mean, I just wanted to like go out to dates, try new steakhouses, try new restaurants. Like,
what was your highest weight?
My highest weight on bulk?
Yeah.
202.
202.
Yeah, and it was pretty lean. I mean, you guys know me. Like I never.
Yeah,
you still like have a six pack and shit. Like.
Yeah, but I was definitely softer. And actually, when I was on prep, I was about a week out, and I was scrolling through my camera roll trying to find something, and I saw the thumbnail from a video that I'd taken peak bulk, and it was at a downward angle like this of a video, and I just had this big ass double chin, and I'm like, holy fuck, I can't go back to that, bro.
Josh, you said you were like 270 something in your heaviest?
Yeah, 275, maybe 270.
Jeez.
And how tall are you?
6'1".
6'1", 275.
That's men's physique, baby.
It's NFL, bro. Chunky. Oh my god.
And
wait, what were you were chunky?
Yeah, it was pretty heavy. I had abs, but like
you had abs.
I had to lose a lot, so I lost like 55 pounds for this.
That was last prep.
This last.
You went from 275 to
225, 230
in one prep.
Fuck.
I think I lost 23. Yeah.
Which is probably a very good idea. And it's probably a better idea.
Towards my lowest weight, but stage weight it was only about 18 pounds. So
I think in hindsight, that's probably a goal. Probably wouldn't go that far. I'd probably go towards about 30.
Yeah, I think 30 is good. I think the problem with me is that I can't bulk properly. So even when I'm pounding food, taking MK677, I'm like, I'm still just not eating all that much. Maybe 4,000 calories a day tops.
It's not going to the right places.
Yeah, and it's just not consistent enough.
It's not. Yeah,
like if I could bulk like Zach Jennings, you see Zach Jennings? Yeah. Y'all watching? I know you've seen him, bro. The difference between his prepped look and his bulked look is a different person.
He's like a bear, bro.
Yeah, and he just gets ridiculously.
You could put on like 60 pounds at like snap of a finger. I swear.
Yeah, no, but he even said, we had him on for the podcast once, and he said that for him, he can kind of just eat where he wants. So if I want to come down 30 pounds, I'll just eat that amount. It's not really that hard. If I want to go up 50 pounds, I'll just eat that amount. It's not really hard. I'm like, crazy, fuck you, dude.
Crazy discipline.
Yeah. It's not. It's just like, it's just mind over matter at that point. Yeah. So I guess that's the problem for me.
Yeah.
Josh, you said you never want to get that heavy again, really?
I don't think I need to get that heavy again.
So
or I might get that heavy, but it's not going to feel like
it's going to take time.
I just like I had to do that one big push to put on the muscle that I need to put on.
What percent, just out of curiosity, would you say you were at peak bulk when it was that 275?
I don't know if I trust
17 or so.
Yeah,
16?
Yeah, 18 between 17 and 21.
Yeah.
Damn. So you were a big dude,
big boy.
Were you moving weight? Were you getting strong as fuck?
Yeah, strong as fuck.
Were you doing heavy compounds? Like, how do you train in your peak bulk? Do you train like? Do you still squat? Do you still bench? Like,
so I don't squat. I don't bench. I don't deadlift. Everything is pretty much machines. What I use is things that are like congruent to your where your muscles are strong, range of motion. So
yeah, that's interesting.
A lot of so this is why Alphaland's so good, because it's got the prime, it's got the side legs. Right. Like these machines are perfect for
interesting. Yeah, because when Dorian was training with Stephen Cow, he was saying the same thing. Like he's not pushing heavy weight, he's not going low rep, he's going like machines and going.
Well, we'll go heavy, we'll go strong, we'll go heavy. Yeah, so we'll load up.
You still hit like a 3 to 4 rep range.
Yeah, more like 5 to 8, and then something.
But you're doing that on the machines.
On machines, yeah.
Yeah, on machines. But
interesting.
So would you say, because there's been for a very long time there's been debate between like power building approach versus a bodybuilding approach, and my view has been you can do a bodybuilding approach and make even more progress in terms of muscle size, but the reason a power building approach works so well for so many people is because when you do those heavy compound movements, it forces you to use more weight. Like when I get under a bench press, I'm forced to use more weight. I have to warm up like 6 sets versus when I get under a machine, I just like 3-set warm up. So I think that it's a lack of intensity on machines for a lot of people. Like usually people, when they do an isolation machine, they're not going to go to complete muscle failure as they would on bench press, for example. So if you do that, you'll actually make even more gains than if you're doing the power building approach. It's just so many people don't. They do their main movements and then they're like, oh, I'll just fuck around on these isolations. Yeah. But if you really go to failure, you know.
That's the key. It's just training hard enough. You can apply the same intensity on a bench press to any single exercise.
Chest fly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just got to apply yourself.
But it's difficult because have you ever seen the video of Tom Platz? He comes into a gym. I'm sure you already know what I'm talking about. And he sees someone doing a leg press, and this guy was going to stop at 8 reps, and Tom made him do like 20. Yeah. and this guy thought his failure was at 8 reps. And that's the way it is when you do machines. A lot of the time, you undervalue just how far muscular failure actually is.
You think it makes a difference from the machine to a free weight?
I think that when you have the threat of if you don't get this rep, it's going to fall back on your chest, like with a bench press. Okay. I think people have that they get more adrenaline. And they're like, oh, I got to get this weight up. So you get those super slow grinder reps. But yeah, exactly. But a lot of the time that I see people do like machine chest press, it's like, dude, you got 10 reps left in the tank. I can tell just by how fast the last one moves. Like, you got way more in you.
So you guys are big advocates of training to failure.
Yeah, 100%. Especially if you're on gear. If you're on gear, the other guys that you're competing against are going to be training to failure. And because you're on gear, you're going to have the recovery ability to be able to recover if you're training to failure each time. I mean, I'm not saying like blood and guts workout the whole time,
like every
but
set.
At least every exercise you do, one of the sets should be to failure, I think. If you're natural, it's a little different. You can burn yourself out.
Because you need more recovery. So, do you agree with that?
I would agree that. I'd agree. But I think if you're natural, you can do it as well. You just do less volume. Or in fact, I think I actually think that. And I know this for a fact. I've trained people who are natural who can out-volume me and train me and failure me. Yeah. I actually think it's more like genetic recoverability. So I think you should just.
That is true.
I think you should do the maximum amount that you can do and recover from and perform again at the same intensity and progress to the next time.
I think though. I mean, obviously steroids and stuff like growth hormone makes it different. I mean, I've noticed like I can just recover from shit faster. So on average, like everyone who's enhanced, obviously. But there's definitely like a big genetic part too. So you'll watch your favorite bodybuilder or whatever do a workout and you try to follow it and you just can't move the next day. It's like, well, that's not, how is it really conducive to muscle growth if you can't train legs for 2 weeks because you destroyed yourself so much on one leg day that you can't even train for 2 more weeks? Yeah. You know, you'd rather have 4 leg workouts within that time span. Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.
Oh my God, this is crazy.
Cheers, y'all.
We're going to stop making sense in a little while here, but.
Has your training regimen changed over the years since you've started on the journey of professional bodybuilding?
You know what? I probably trained the same for the last 4 or 5 years as well. Yeah.
But you're seeing steady gains, steady growth.
Yeah. It's quite.
And you're taking less gear, which is that's very valuable.
Less gear, but like in more like synergy with one another. So you kind of you'll yield technically like the same result with less side effects.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So have you? You say you don't really incorporate any bench press, squat, deadlift, anything like that?
So variations of, right? So like I wouldn't do a bench press. I'll do a reverse banded Smith press. I wouldn't do a squat.
A reverse banded hack squat?
A reverse banded hack squat.
Yeah, bro.
You know,
it's
like
my favorite leg exercise.
Yeah, I'll do something like that. I'll do a pendulum squat because it works in that same way as that a reverse band would do.
Is that for injury prevention mostly? Or
injury prevention is probably a little bit more accurate for the muscle. Why would you, in theory, increase the joint pressure, increase your injury risk if you could get the same result somewhere else? And if it feels better, and if it's better for the muscle, technically.
Yeah, I know I have a...
like if you enjoy it, all right, cool, that's fine.
Yeah, I have imbalances like my shoulders and shit, so I just like using machines more. Yeah, just because it takes pressure off like that one side. That's the perfect
thing, you know? Yeah. Offers more stability, puts you in a safer position.
Yeah, of course. James, would you ever do a powerlifting meet again?
Yeah, I've mentioned this before. I think I would.
Is that a whole like you have to like reset your whole like workout? Fucking. Oh no, you left.
Give it back to me.
Did you just tap out?
Yeah, no, I just zoned out for a minute.
Just talking it over.
I went blind. No, but I was gonna say if I do another powerlifting meet, I think I'm probably more from a genetic standpoint gifted in terms of strength than muscle size, especially due to my genetically low appetite. I just can't put on like slabs of muscle like some people can.
So you can fit in a weight category nicely.
Yeah, well. And I just think I did gymnastics from when I was 4 until I was 12 or 13, so I have like very strong tendons and ligaments. I just have fallen more in love with bodybuilding, but dude, I fucking love hitting PRs. Yeah, I love hitting 1 rep max. I can't stay away from it.
Yeah, you're strong as shit. Like it would almost be a shame for you like not to like stop.
Yeah,
like that.
I mean, I love arm wrestling, and Kyle, my coach, will sit there and be like, "Why the fuck are you doing all this shit? Like, you're using your internal rotators, arm wrestling someone, like you're gonna get snapped up." But half of fitness, it's not just winning; it's also like having fun and enjoying it. And I fucking love arm wrestling. I love hitting PRs. Yeah. So I would do. Arm wrestling's crazy. Dude, arm wrestling's fun as fuck. I have an arm wrestling table in there. We got to run it up after the pod, but I would do another powerlifting meet, but I don't think I would prep for it. I think I would just wait till I was
pushing you.
I would wait till I was peak bulk, sign up for a random meet, not worry about getting first or second or third, and I would just try to be as strong as I can just for the experience. Because when I used to step on the platform, it's such a fucking huge rush. It feels the same as walking onto a bodybuilding stage. You know, like when they call your name and you have to walk out and you got to wait, you got to move. It's like it's
that
so
adrenaline.
Yeah, it's such a good feeling. So for all those listening or watching, if you're into power building or powerlifting, I would say just fuck it, sign up for a local meet, and it's a lot of fun. Like I remember every moment of my first ever powerlifting meet, like every single second of it. I remember I'd never taken nose torque ammonia before, and this veteran-looking powerlifter came up to me backstage because he could see I was this tadpole, and he's like, "Here, kid, try this. You'll need this." And it wasn't one of those break open. It was one of those ones that you shake and then
assaults.
And that shit's powerful, bro. So I didn't know any better. I went right in, nose to the fucking brim, and I took a full breath, and it hit me so hard I started crying. Like tears started coming out of my eyes. I walked onto the wrong platform, and the judges had to grab me by the shoulders and turn me around and say, "Walk onto that platform. That's where you're lifting." I still managed to get the lift, but I remember that vividly. They said you're on the wrong platform. I'm like, bro, I can't see shit.
I can't see where I'm going.
Oh my god. Yeah. Do you have any Q&A questions that are non-fitness?
Actually, we already answered the first Q&A question. We got into such a long.
I have a question I was thinking about on the way over in the car, because you guys are both IFBB pros, and I was thinking about sort of like your educational come up, and I asked you in the kitchen earlier. I want to know your take on sort of like, obviously this very unconventional path you've taken, lifestyle wise, career wise, but you have your degree, your advanced degree in criminology, is what you said.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So explain how you were feeling going through school, and like how you decided that wasn't for you. I didn't do it, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, like I kind of fell in love with bodybuilding alongside that degree. I was very set on doing my degree, going into the police force, because you go into police force with a degree, you get fast track promotion, you don't have to walk around on the streets for so long, you become a detective, you retire at 55, you get 60K a year, and you fall into that routine. And like literally as I was bodybuilding alongside going to university, going to classes, I just the world of social media like started to open. It wasn't a thing, when did Instagram come out? 2008 or something? Like
but it didn't really start popping off till like 2014.
Yeah, and I was in uni 2011 to 2015, right? So like towards the end of it, when I really fell in love with bodybuilding, this whole industry emerged. Yeah, and I was like, right, there's something here right now,
Really? So you didn't think this is too good to be true? You didn't think, I already did all this work, it's time to go to get a real job? You were like, wait a sec, there might be something here.
Yeah. What was your first taste of like real money from doing bodybuilding or content?
Probably just from the coaching side, man. I mean, you guys know how it is, bro. Like 100 people is not a lot of people when you've got 20,000 followers. 100 people. Well, if 100 people pay you $200 a month, that's $200,000. That's stupid money.
20K.
Yeah.
Well, times
it's stupid.
20K.
And like it's stupid, right? And the higher up that totem pole you go, all right.
And you can work from anywhere. Like
you can do that from anywhere, and you're making more than what neurosurgeons make.
Yeah.
And you know what?
It's wild.
So
clients.
So that was it. Like that was it. It was from the coaching, and then like you do your first like small drop, and you make like you do $10,000 or whatever, £10,000. You think, well, I just sold 100 hoodies overnight.
Yeah.
And then obviously
that taste of like working for yourself. Like I don't got to give this money to anybody. This is literally all mine. I made it in one night or one day or 1 month. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Okay. So what year was that? So was that after you graduated?
No.
You started online coaching?
No, it was probably like 26. I probably made my first like, 6 figures in a year or something.
All right, so there's a good difference there between when you graduated and when you started making livable money doing this thing.
So
what'd you do?
I worked at Lululemon.
You worked at
yeah. That's why I love this
fucking
clothes so
love
much.
Lululemon.
Yeah, I do. I fucking love Lululemon.
No.
That's my feminine coming out right there. I fucking love Lululemon.
60% discount. I used to spend my entire wage on it every day.
You had an advanced degree in criminology and you worked at Lululemon.
Yeah, because I didn't want to live at home with my mum. I wanted mumsy. I do want to live at home with you. I just had to leave to go chase my dreams.
Right.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to live at home. It was just me and my mum. I wanted to send it, so I moved to London, but I couldn't afford it. So I moved to London, did 3 days. I work full time at Lululemon, but in my part time, I'll do my coaching.
You had to work 2 jobs to live in London.
To do my coaching in the evening, and then eventually coaching matched my wage. But I still didn't get paid a lot, so I had to keep going until it earned a bit more. And then I was like, "This is stupid. Let me get rid of Lululemon, move back home. Went back with Mumsy anyway.
Yeah.
Save the money until I could actually move out, and then.
And how old were you when you moved out that second time?
27.
27.
So I went back for about 8 months.
Yeah, but I just mean everyone listening to this, you think that you have to make a decision right when you graduate when you're 21 years old. That's not true. Yeah, you don't have to rush into the rest of your life.
And you reach that point where you're like, all right, I gotta leave Lulu, because you're either gonna give it 100% or don't do it.
It was taking so much of me that I wanted to give elsewhere that it just took away from happiness.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out.
And
Lululemon.
also, I think
I
it
love
was.
Lululemon.
Yeah. I think it was Grant Steffen, the real estate guy on YouTube.
Oh yeah, he's
yeah. He, I think it was him who made a video on moving back in with his parents, and he said it was the best decision of his life. It's actually really only a Western thing to move out of home from your parents, because I've noticed with Gary, young LA owner, he is originally from India, and his parents live with him. His brother lives with them.
Yeah, it's big.
They all live in one house together. So it's it's actually not kind of the norm. It's just a Western thing to move out. So there's no shame in living with your parents. I mean, I did that for a year after I dropped out of college.
Listen, if you're grateful enough to be able to go home to your parents and they take care, they're helping you. You're saving money in the meantime, and you're figuring out what you want to do until it's time to go on your own.
And also, there's no one who's ever gonna love you like your parents.
Exactly.
And that's something I've learned over time.
My mom's always like, "When are you coming home?"
They always say that. They always, your parents will always tell you that, but it's not until you graduate from college, go out into the real world, and then you're like, "Oh shit, they were right."
Yeah. I can literally go home whenever, and my mom's open arms. But obviously, I'm here.
What did your mom think about your career choice? Does she understand?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, she was very much for it for a very long time. She's at the age 67 years old. She's reflects on her life a lot, and she's like, no regrets. Go chase what's yours. And
do they understand the whole bodybuilding and what it takes?
Yeah, I remember we sat down. We were on holiday. We were in Venice. We were sat at a restaurant. A little nice canal. I was like, "Mom, I think I'm gonna take steroids."
Yeah. But funny when I
want to know about that. How did that go? How did you expect it to go?
On the canal.
We'd the words had been fluttered around a few times, so it was kind of expected. I'd this is my dream, this is it, and she just said no regrets. You can't.
Damn.
Don't look back and think. Is this going to be a moment where you look back and think, I could have done that?
Yeah.
If it is, then go do it.
Yeah,
that's so dope. Yeah.
When I first pitched steroids to my parents, I pitched it and I said, I'm getting on testosterone because it sounds more natural. It's what your body naturally produces. So no one needs to know that it's actually a steroid. I was just like, I'm gonna start injecting it instead of naturally producing it.
Did you say you need it?
Yeah, I said I was. I actually took a SARM intentionally to suppress my test so that I could get prescribed testosterone.
That's insane.
And
don't do that, kids. Do not do that.
I'm not saying you should do it, but that's what I did. And
that's so
all right, I'm just being honest here. And my my testosterone was 47 nanograms per milliliter or deciliter or whatever. It was in the female range. So the doctor was like, "Yeah, you need tests for sure." I'm like, 20-year-old, I need testosterone for some reason. Yeah, I'm in the female range, no reason for that. And my parents were, once they got behind that, it was more easy to versus if I said, "Yo, I'm gonna hop on Tren, Halo test," all this shit.
Here's the list.
Yeah.
When you told them that, did they know that you wanted to do bodybuilding, or were you just like, "Fuck, I don't want to"?
Oh yeah, I mean, at that point I was 20 and I'd been lifting since I was 14, so. I'd already been signed with Gymshark. They knew that this was... Actually, I'd already dropped out of school at this point. So they knew this is what I wanted to do. But
that's some supportive parents, man. That's awesome.
Yeah,
James, that's insane, bro. I'm sorry. You literally purposely fuck.
Dude, I know a lot of people do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good way to, because especially if you're 20 years old, they're not going to want to prescribe tests to you, so you have to give them a good reason.
True. Really good reason.
But my dad was, he left Australia when he was 21 to go be a boat captain, and all he'd ever done was all he'd ever done was sailboat racing in high school. And he actually lied on his first job and said, "Yeah, I know how to drive a full-size sailboat," and got the job, and that's what got started. That's what got him started. So when I said, "Yo, I want to drop out of school. I want to pursue fitness," he was all for it. I was only making about $2,000 per month at the time, but he was still all for it. My mom was like a little edgy, but
as understandably
they still got behind it. Yeah,
understandably so.
Here, I'm gonna look through some of the questions.
Yeah.
I can't get over that.
Kinkiest thing you've ever done?
Jesus, bro.
Josh. Out of left field, baby. All right.
I'm trying to think what's
we had to
kinky,
cut
though.
out some sensitive info there, but kinkiest thing
back.
you've ever done is not sensitive info at all. Let's hear it.
I'm trying to think. You put
I'm
me
trying to
on the spot.
define kinkiest.
Yeah. Like,
There's a very clear.
Is there a
definition.
baseline?
Kinkiest.
Give me a
Baseline
baseline.
would be like spitting in your partner's mouth.
Well, that's ticked off. So
I love these questions. I put this on my second
This is
account.
James's
I knew they'd
question.
be
It's
fucked
not even
up.
there. He's just asking it.
Yeah, I just want to know, bro.
I'm like, let me see who asked that.
It's
You're like, no, don't worry about it.
That is advice.
I know what's kinky, like weak ass, have my ass eaten.
Yeah.
Child.
You had your ass eaten?
Imagine a child like
Sushi's gonna love
changing
this.
a nappy.
Oh, so you were legs up, missionary, bro? All right, now that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's get a round of applause for that. I wish.
That's funny.
Wait, hit the yellow button on there. Hit the yellow button on there.
Is that a laugh?
There we go.
You gotta hit it again.
Damn.
Color.
dude.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Oh, so you just answer, you just asked
No,
me.
no.
and
What
then we-
about you guys?
Harry,
Let's
you're
hear it.
Harry, you're up.
Jeez,
Harry, you're up. Sorry, pal.
I can't follow that up. That's fucking sick. Shout out her.
Yeah. Fuck. I don't know.
Come on, Harry.
This. Fuck. I don't know. I'm gonna use like one that's like a little bit not.
No. Full thing. Come on, bro. I can top.
No, I'm gonna use
I
one.
probably can't
So
top it.
There was.
I don't know.
I was with this girl, and so prior to her, I hadn't been with a girl that was into things like that, and so I like FaceTime my friend. I was like, "What do I do?" I was like, and he's like, "Go." What I did is I bought rope at the store, tied it to the bed frame, and then made like makeshift cuffs.
Yeah. For her or for you?
Not for me, not for her.
All right. I wasn't sure if this is a dominatrix
No.
situation.
No.
All right.
That's crazy.
Joe?
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Like I had some Valentine's days with my ex where we included some handcuffs. And,
No, you definitely got your ass eaten, bro. Don't lie to me.
No, I honestly haven't.
Butt finger?
I've been offered. It's almost
Yeah.
like I don't know.
An offer? What? Like, was it a proposal? Like a business proposal? You were like, not today.
Hand clasp.
She gets down on one knee. Can I eat your ass? She's got a ring.
I've got the proposal.
No, yeah, no ass eating, but probably yeah. I'm a fan of handcuffs.
Oh, yeah.
Josh, what do you got to say about that?
Big
bro?
fan of handcuffs.
Are you a fan?
I'm saying, just try it.
Yeah, handcuffs are cool.
I'm gonna run it after this, bro. I'm gonna make some calls. Like,
Hey, you want to come over to
set
my
up a group
ass?
chat.
I'm going to make some calls.
All right, next question. That's
No,
actually
James
there.
got to answer that.
Oh yeah, James, you're up.
Unless you don't want to.
No, I mean, it would probably have my butt fingered. I mean,
How deep?
I was probably 6 months ago on the pod.
How many knuckles?
It was just the first 1.5, you know. It was just a little tease, you
But
know.
she had long fingers.
Because I think it was 6 months ago on this podcast, I was like, I'll never fucking do that. Like, just letting a girl dominate over me.
That's gonna be me. Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna be you in 6 months. But then, like, sorry, I'm putting you on blast right here. It's like,
Damn.
bro, you gotta try it. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, I'll try it. I'll never look back. It was so good. I asked for that shit every time.
Every night.
Oh my god.
Let's see.
I can't believe James Italian asked that question. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, bro. No, there's some more.
Yeah.
Someone just asked wiener size. There's plenty. Someone said, "Do it stink." Yeah, mine does. That's why I wouldn't let a girl eat my ass.
Your fans have some interesting questions, bro.
You know, they're curious.
They're trying to
bro.
stir the pot.
Do it stink, bro?
Do it stink?
Someone's got to type that out.
Did your family ever oppose your bodybuilding at some point, or?
Sounded like
So my dad did when I first started, until he saw money.
And
then
okay,
it was like,
And he's like, go for it, baby.
He's like, oh baby, yeah. And then you know what? Like, so where I said my mum said go for it now. I think now if she could look back in hindsight and look at the journey of things that I've been through, the issues that I've been through, and also the results that I've got and the sacrifice I still need to make.
Yeah.
She'd probably say that she's not a fan anymore.
Yeah. Because maybe she didn't think you'd take it that seriously. Maybe she thought you'd dip your toe in, try it.
I don't think she understood the seriousness of taking steroids for years at a time.
Have you had any scares, like medical?
I've definitely had scares, like you think you have issues. Like I've had heart scans. I've had like,
especially with your fucking thigh, bro.
Yeah, the thigh was the scariest thing, and I've had like a few bad injections. Like I've had a shoulder that's done that as well. So I'm like,
holy shit.
And like when your family see you do that,
Right.
Like,
That's what I'm wondering. I'm
like is this worth it? Like,
what are you doing?
I just want to jump in. Is more plates, more dates a big thing in England?
Yeah, he's huge still.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he's huge.
Okay, dope. Because I think in part he's inspired the whole revolution of more intelligent cycles 100%. And taking minimum effective dose. But one of the things he told me, and he's also made a video on it, is never inject into the quad anywhere near it. He's like, even if you're completely sterile, you do everything right, you're still gonna have a bad shot in the quad sometimes. I've never really had a bad shot in the glute. Maybe once, but that was my fault. But the quad, sometimes it's like you hit an artery or something, you hit a vein, a nerve, and that shit just swells up because it's so dense.
Yeah, it's true.
Someone asked how to deal with the mental sides of bodybuilding. EEDs, body dysmorphia, isolated, and then the question stops. So just like the mental sides, like you look in the mirror and you don't like the way that you look, etc. Eating disorders.
That's the hardest part. I'm probably not qualified to answer that, am I?
Well, have you struggled with that?
Yeah, I think definitely like body image is a big thing. I think what people see is never what, especially when you're chasing your own perfection. You never truly see what other people see. So there is probably some form of body dysmorphia there. You know, where how impactful that is and how unhealthy that is. I think that's the scale that you've probably got to decide, and if it's actually making you more unhappy and the pain of that anxiety of feeling all those things is worse, then you got to knock it on the head. But if you're okay with it, then.
Have you ever struggled with eating disorders, like binging or anything like that?
I think probably binging's probably been the main one, just post show, like not being able to control it for sure. Actually, this is the best one I've ever done. I've been perfect. I've been just above maintenance. Probably, I'm pretty good. First one, proud of myself, because the last two I fucked it.
Hit that yellow button.
That's the laugh, bro.
Because last year, like I fucked it. You know, you obviously you finish your cycle, you do your clearance phase, however long it is. By the time I started my next blast, I just was sick of food.
Yeah,
I'm like, what's the fucking point? Like I fucked it in 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
And I feel like once you start down that path, it's like, well, I've already gained so much water and fat, I might as well just keep going. You know, you can like justify it to yourself why it's okay.
You'll always find a way.
Yeah,
it's like an addict, right? You'll find a justification to eat that food.
And I think it points to the fact that people don't realize how dependent they are on satiating, good tasting food. Because I definitely didn't. I thought prep was going to be easy, and I've said in my videos plenty of times, I don't think that hunger was the hardest part. I think cravings were, because I was craving sugar. I was craving fat.
What are you craving?
Especially fat, savory fat. I wanted bacon, eggs, cheese. Yeah, man. Like all the shit that makes you feel like heavy after you eat it. Yeah. Like I wanted pizza, burgers, with bacon, just right into, just inject the fucking burger right into my veins.
You just want like olive oil at that point.
Yeah.
You don't want to
straight drink olive oil.
Point.
Yeah, just spray Pam into your mouth like it's whipped cream.
What was like? Did you ever have a moment on prep where you like cracked?
Never.
Not once.
Hell yeah! Yo, hit the yellow button one more time, baby.
Not one time.
Yo,
you're so invested. Like you're cheating yourself, right?
I will
like,
humbly admit, bro, I cracked a few times, but it wasn't out of hunger. I never binged while I was on prep.
Like comfort.
No. I would just like those Drizzlicious things. They're a thing over here. I don't know. You've heard of them?
I've seen this.
They're like healthy quinoa, so I justify it to myself. I'm like, I'll have a little bowl of this. It's only 15 grams of carbs. and I would be good after that. But up until like 3 weeks out, I was doing that kind of more often than I should have, probably like once a day.
Yeah.
I was probably getting in that little extra 15 grams of carbs.
And it adds up at the end of the week.
It does, yeah. And it's because I just wanted that flavor.
Yeah.
And it's not the same when you chew something and spit it out. That's just, you don't get the satisfaction. But I would have that little bit of sweets, and it would carry me through the rest of the day. But once I cut that shit out I was about 3 weeks out. My coach was like, why the fuck you so lean? Yeah, I've been cheating this whole time, bro. Sorry. But it was never like, I'm so hungry I need to eat everything. I would like measure out a little bowl of these delicious things and make sure like I wasn't actually fucking myself over.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
How many full preps have you done? You had this one. Okay, this is one prep. 2 shows, 1 prep. How many preps have you done? 5 preps.
Damn. 5, probably 6, with 3 of them being natural.
Boy. And not one cheat. Good for you, bro. God damn.
Cheating yourself.
Wait, 5 preps with 6 preps with 5 of them being natural? Is that what you said?
3 of them being natural.
Oh, 3 of them. Okay.
You plan on taking just a 1 year off season again, or you want to do it?
Yeah, I'll just do 1 year again. I think my feedback was that I'm big enough ish. Just got to fill in some gaps and come in a little bit leaner.
What was the feedback? What do you want to work on?
Come in a little bit leaner, a little bit fuller up top, fill in a few gaps. But it should be possible not having to lose 54 pounds this time. Just lose
great.
Better starting point.
Have you ever tried not cutting out tests for the show?
Yeah, I never cut out test.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
because I don't get any injections.
This is like a new thing because the bro science theory for so long was you got to cut out tests when you're 5 weeks out to eliminate water. But the only thing that retains water is high estrogen. So if you're already taking AIs, you're good. So what happens is people will look their best like 4 weeks out while the test is still in their system, and then they will just flatten out for the next 4 weeks because they cut test out. They're not as full. Sure. And sure, they may be retaining like 1 gram less water, but it's like you don't look full at all. No. And that's something I noticed backstage is a lot of people were saying, how are you so full while being this lean? It's like I just didn't cut out test. Yeah. I didn't even cut out growth for my first show.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
really?
I just kept it in. Because as long as you're lean enough and dry enough, that little bit of water retention, you're not even going to notice it. And it gives you so much more fullness. What is your favorite PED? Primo. I was going to guess that.
All day, every day.
Yeah. Damn. So why is that?
Side effect free
so Primo, because it's pretty like, in terms of toxicity, it's pretty low on the profiles.
Yeah.
Actually, like, there's like a 20-year study into Primo on women. And they run it up to 1,400 milligrams per 1,400 milligrams per week.
Is it not androgenic? Their clit must be the size of my fucking thumb, bro.
Mildly, but they ran it in patients for 12 weeks, and they looked at the androgenic side effects, and within 12 weeks, at the same time, everything had been completely gone. So the tolerance of it is quite high. Like the actual action of it driving up protein accretion is pretty high. Also, it modulates estrogen as well. So you don't need to use AIs. You use testosterone. You can use your Primo to modulate your estrogen. So
because it binds or it like antagonizes.
Exactly. So it works as like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Primo.
I'm learning so much.
Yeah. I wish. So what's your? Yeah. This is not medical advice. That this should be a given.
This is an answer to a question.
What's your hair genetics like?
Not that good.
Not that good.
I'm going to Turkey soon.
That's not that bad. Mine's worse.
Under the spotlight.
It's looking thick.
But
how much is that? How much is that turkey procedure?
Well, with an influencer pass.
Hey, I love that.
Free with a +1.
I love that.
Who's coming with me?
Yeah. So
I've seen a lot
have
of
you
people
noticed? Because I really wanted to run Primo.
Yeah.
Because it was way less unhealthy than other androgens, but Derek was like, if you care about your hair at all, it's just going to butt fuck it. So you might as well just stick with test, finasteride, and tren, which is less healthy. Your cholesterol is going to be in the toilet, but
isn't that crazy? You'd rather kill yourself from the inside than lose your fucking hair.
I'd rather kill myself. I'd rather kill myself for 12 weeks than lose my hair for ever.
Well, you could get a procedure tomorrow. You wanted to.
But a hair transplant, I don't know.
I'm in for that.
Yeah.
So then it turns into a self-confidence.
If it got bad enough,
right,
but like I'd rather just not deal with that, you know.
Yeah.
So.
What you got?
I'm natty and I'm struggling over here.
Yeah, so you might as well just go crazy.
What are your thoughts?
Primo after this.
What's your thoughts on younger teenagers, probably like the 15 to 16 range, which I see a lot, about wanting to do trends, SARMs tests, other steroids, etc.?
You stupid.
Yeah, you dumb as hell, boy. You are dumb as hell.
Next question.
Bro, there was someone in my I was streaming on Twitch yesterday, and I looked away for like 5 minutes. By the time I looked back, there's just like 8 dudes in my chat having an argument with this one Ziz disciple, saying like, I want to run Rad 140 and I'm 15 years old. And these guys are like, you are fucking dumb, bro.
I'm glad that
if you've
you're
already
that
taken
defense.
that jump, you might as well just take tests. It's going to be healthier. And this is not advising me for anyone to do tests, but it's like,
people be surprised how far you can get naturally. I mean, like, unless you're genetically crushed, a lot of people, like, bro, like you're growing until you're damn near mid 20s. Like if you're 15, you have a decade of actually just growing as a human being.
And brain development.
Yeah.
And this is something that I wish that I knew, especially when I started smoking weed. I was like 14. Yeah. I had no idea the effect it had on brain development. But
I did 3 natty shows, like, and every show I got bigger.
Yeah, exactly. And people
nothing
don't
changed.
realize
My training stayed the same. It was just like muscle development over time.
Exactly.
Changing my diet
that muscle maturity, like it just happens with time. There's nothing that can do that besides time.
Literally time, yeah. Obviously, when I'm 19 and when I'm 27, I'm going to look.
You also just how many guys do you see at the gym that you know are taking stuff, but they look completely natural? Like that's the worst thing you could possibly do.
Oh, yeah. People are like, yo, I'm running TRT. I'm like, why? Did you have a low test? You're 22.
Because you don't know how to train. You don't know how to eat. You don't have any education on the matter. Fundamentals. That's what I'm saying. Like, do 10 years of the fundamentals, and if you still want to get to that next level, make that decision.
Yeah, do it the right way, too.
Or it's because people fuck themselves over with SARMs. They go get blood work done to determine what's wrong with them. And they're like, oh, I need TRT.
Here's the thing about SARMs.
But wait, real quick, I just wanted to say, with SARMs, these kids want to run it. Bro, I ran a SARM at a normal dose. I ran LGD at 10 milligrams a day, which is not a crazy amount. That's a normal amount that kids take. It got my test down to 42 nanograms per deciliter, bro. Yeah. It got my test down to female range within 10 weeks. I started 10 weeks before. I got my blood test 10 weeks after. And I'm sure it was down at that range by the time I was like, by the time I'd been running it for 4 or 5 weeks. And then because I remember being depressed. I didn't get a boner for 6 weeks straight. I had no urge to have sex or anything. And I was just like lethargic. And that started about 4 weeks into LGD. And it lasted the next 6 weeks. So I'm sure I could have gotten that blood work done 4 weeks in. Like, bro, you think this shit's not going to suppress you. It's just as suppressive as gear in some cases.
But the thing is, like Josh was saying, the education has gone so far in the last 5 years that, like, there is no, like, you or people who took SARMs 5 years ago had an excuse because there wasn't education. It was
over the counter, bro. Literally over the counter.
Right.
Yeah.
So you had an excuse then. You don't now. If you're 15, 16, whatever,
I will
now,
say,
like,
bro,
there's education out there to tell you how these affect.
Think of it, man. Think of it. Think of all the bros that get into lifting because they're in football, right? You got to go into the weight room. You're in football. You're kind of the scrawny kid. You go to your local supplement shop, not a GNC or anything, but one of those local ones. You know how many pro hormones and SARMs I've seen bottled up selling at supplement shops? You don't need to show an ID. No. You don't need to prove anything. It
was legal a few years ago.
They're not legal. They're not illegal, but they're banned in supplements. But supplement manufacturers will still put them in supplements. Bro, my first ever experience with anabolics was with a pro hormone.
Yeah, over the counter.
At a fucking supplement shop that I just bought. I was like 19.
Yeah, dude, Rad, LGD, everything.
Yeah.
Ostarine,
right
over the counter.
And it's all legit shit. And it's like, and some of it's not legit, which is even worse because they're selling it illegally. You can't put it in supplements.
A lot of those companies got shut down.
D-ball in it and shit. Exactly, but then new ones pop up.
Yeah.
And
they just changed the name. That's what they all did.
It's exactly what happens. Science.bio changed to IRC.bio, which is now getting shut down, and they're probably going to change to something else.
All that shit,
yeah, so it's like there is more access to information, but if you're some football kid, you're not that into fitness, but you just don't want to be the scrawniest kid in the locker room. Yeah. You go walk in, you're like, you know what? I'm going to take a supplement. And you walk into your local supplement shop, and the guy behind the counter is like, hey, man, this stuff will make you huge. They haven't even listened to More Plates, More Days. They don't even know who the fuck he is. They haven't listened to people like you. They haven't listened to... They're not into the fitness industry like that. They're just going to buy that bottle and fucking pop a few.
Yeah, miss a few days here and there. You know, it's not... They don't do it the right way.
Yeah. And then their test is in the toilet, and they're like 17 years old.
I wonder why they can't get hard on.
Yeah. It's like, this is the worst time for you to suppress your test into the ground when you're going through puberty.
For sure.
100%.
Anyway, that turned into a rant.
Have you ever
ask Josh when he's moving to classic so you two can compete against each other. I don't want to compete against this 275-pound motherfucker.
How much work did you say? You think like 2-3 years? You think, and then you want to jump in?
Yeah, I want to see what I can do this year with next year with men's physique. And if I'm not qualifying for the Olympia, then I'll probably question whether I'll go to the Classic.
I mean, if you think I honestly think if you had to compare the two, genetics matter more in men's because there's less posing. There's less poses that you have to practice. So it's kind of just like who's got the better V-taper, who's got the better muscle insertions.
I feel like Classic's a look though, right? Like there's a look for Classic.
There is a look,
definitely,
but it's easy if you focus on the right muscle groups. Like Logan Franklin went from being men's physique, and he was big up. I don't know. I don't think he was ever Mr. Olympia, but he was up there.
Top 10.
Yeah. But he went from that. He transitioned flawlessly to Classic. He has an amazing Classic physique. Now, if you looked back at him back when he did men's, he didn't have the look, but it's like you work a lot on your lats. You take a little focus off the delts, and you work on your vacuum a shit ton. You bring up the legs. It's like you can change to a Classic look. But posing is the biggest thing. I think that obviously there's a massive genetic component in any, whether it's open, Classic, men's, but I think in men's it matters the most because the posing is so basic. I think that in Classic you have a whole routine that you go through. You have a whole minute up there to do any pose you want, really. And then there's 4 quarter turns. There's like 6 mandatories or something. So I think that if you practice posing, it's more competitive in a way because you can actually focus on things that you can change. You can't change your genetics, but you can be better at posing than the next guy. I think the guy that placed 3rd at my show, he might have had slightly better genetics than me. I just think that I posed better than him.
He didn't showcase it as good as you.
Yeah, so if you're a hard worker, it's like you can beat out everyone just by working harder than them, focusing on posing more, etc. Do you think eating or training is the hardest part of bodybuilding?
It depends on the person. For me, it's the eating.
Same.
Yeah, I can't eat enough.
Same.
Like everyone's training stays the same. Like the way you train, like usually that's just the way you're going to train for forever. Like you're not really going to change it up.
When you get to that level too, you don't need to be told to train. You just train.
Yeah, you just train.
It's like brushing your freaking
it's everything you
teeth.
do outside the gym that's going to really make the big changes.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if you've noticed after your show, but for me, the easiest thing to stay consistent has been training.
Yeah,
eating is like, dude, I don't want to keep doing this shit. You think I want to hop back on meal plan after fucking 12 weeks, 16 weeks of this bullshit? Yeah. But training, it's so in our DNA that it's like, well, what else am I going to do with my day? If I can play video games, watch a movie? Like,
nah, you got to go.
You go run your errands, but the whole time you're doing that, you're getting ready for the gym. You go do your training. I think for me, the only thing that's changed has really been eating. Yeah. Training has still been pretty good.
Yeah. Same for me.
Same for you?
Same for me.
Yeah. Because training it's fun.
It's what I did before I competed.
Yeah.
That's what I like to do.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be there when I stop competing, you know?
Yeah.
It's just part of your
I think
life.
for most bodybuilders, training is fun.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think for most bodybuilders, eating is not fun. I don't think there's anyone that enjoys bulking on 5,000 calories a day. You know, so I think eating is usually the hardest part for everyone. Maybe early on, eating is easy when you're a beginner into the gym. But once you get to that anywhere near pro level, it's like eating becomes exponentially harder. Yeah. Especially when you're eating the same shit every day. For sure. That's why I use Flex Pro Meals, Pro Jam.
Do you have a training partner?
This guy in the corner over here in the blue top. Joe Brighty.
Hell yeah.
Are you guys approximately the same strength?
We're pretty close in strength.
That's dope.
There's some things he gets me on. There's some things that I get him on.
Yeah.
So we're constantly like nudging each other forward, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
And both being pros chasing after the same dream. It was pretty good.
That's dope.
How long
so you guys are all,
healthy competition.
guys are both pushing each other.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
It's so helpful, bro.
Yeah.
Because
I've always
one of
trained
your
on my
head's
own
not
as
in
well.
the game.
That's
the
it.
other,
That's it.
Right.
You got a shirt for the boy, right?
Yeah,
Show
exactly.
up,
so because when I've noticed when I'm alone, it's easy to not train hard. But if I'm training with someone, it's like, well, I can't be a pussy. Like I got to put on somewhat.
Exactly.
You know,
that's like hiring a coach. Like
exactly. When Kyle was here, bro, I did not have any pussy training sessions.
Yeah.
It was the hardest I've
that's
ever.
That's when you know you're
trained.
taking it serious. Like you make that leap to hire someone.
Thoughts on toes? You suck on toes?
I probably would suck on a few toes.
Crazy.
I probably would suck on. I probably wouldn't want my toes sucked.
Yeah.
Because
that's
growth feet.
Yeah. I got growth hormone toes, bro. They're a little bigger than they should be.
I'll suck on a toe.
Yeah, but it's got to be clean, right? Or are you down for it marinated out of a sock?
Genuine question: Have you done it before?
Suck the toe.
Yeah.
Of course.
What was the first time?
Man's got his ass.
Did you ask permission? Were you like, can I suck on your toe? Or did she tell you to?
I feel like her foot was like here and just kind of made it sway.
All right, all right, fuck it then.
If you're gonna wiggle it, my foot.
Bit that shit.
Give me this shit.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, it's usually
like
the shoulders.
So she was making the head.
You know, it's
All right, if it's gonna be smacked in my face, I mean, I guess so.
Yeah, it's usually that like that missionary when you're just in missionary, you're like, it's right here. You know, I might as well. I hear a lot about this. Let me mix it in.
I've heard a lot about this.
Let me see
Is that how YouTube?
Let me see what the hype's about.
There's one of two ways it can go. Either you got her, you got a few, styles of missionary, but when you got her legs up and she has her legs on your chest,
Yeah, it's just right there, bro.
one way it can go is and just start sucking on it. But the other way it can go is, damn, this bitch just went to the gym. Her feet are so stinky, and you just kind of move them apart, move them out of the way. You act like you're a sex god, but you're actually just trying to get the fucking stench away, you know.
Dude,
So
it's funny as fuck.
yeah, sucking on toes, it's intimate.
Yeah.
You got to reserve it for the
I'm
right
more of a
girl.
sock guy,
That's
bro.
for sure.
Like I like high socks.
Socks. Well, socks are like.
I like socks.
Oh,
yeah.
you're into the little schoolgirl.
Yeah, I
shit?
like socks. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a sock guy.
Wait, so you'd rather put a sock in your mouth?
No, what?
No, like
Put
long
the sock in my
socks.
mouth.
You're talking, like
I'd rather her
stockings
wearing
up to
socks.
the
Yeah.
knees.
No, well, not stockings. Like
Not stockings, but like long ass socks up to the
yeah,
knee.
I'm a sock guy.
Not
yeah.
like Santa stockings.
I'm a sock.
Yeah, not
guy.
stockings, bro.
I'm a
It's fucking-
sock guy. It's crazy, bro.
Oh, the toe's not crazy, but the sock's crazy.
Just
Yeah.
that sentence is a crazy
No, because it's
sentence.
like the foot, the toe is like that's a part of the body you're not supposed to touch because it's
Exactly.
gross. So when you do, it's like
Yeah.
intimate, you know.
Yeah.
Like
No,
an
look,
like an
I'm on
armpit.
board.
I'm game.
I'm on board.
Aaron's like, bro, I'm game.
there. I'm there.
Do you believe in an afterlife? You religious?
This pot's crazy.
I'm
Pot's
probably
insane.
not overall religious. No. I don't know.
Yeah, afterlife is
That's an
is a
answer.
crazy.
No, that's an
I
answer.
would love to believe in it,
Yeah.
but I don't think so. I think it's just dumb.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't believe in afterlife.
That's such
Or-
a
We have no consciousness of what happens next.
Yeah.
It might happen, but we don't know what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Type of thing.
Mm.
What are your thoughts on simulation theory? That we're living in a simulation? Because the best argument I've heard,
Wait, what do you mean? Define that.
the best argument
I
I've
like
heard,
this, I like
and
this.
this explanation will explain what I mean, is from Elon Musk, which is
Yeah.
that
He's a fucking alien, bro.
No, but he's.
I think he's speaking from the future.
All right.
As long as we don't go extinct as a species,
Mm-hmm.
look at the VR we have now. You can go into a VR place and you can actually have haptic feedback where they put sensors on your body. And you can, I think Joe Rogan's talked about it, you can go to these places, which I would love to go to.
Mm-hmm.
And they give you VR goggles, they give you a little fake gun, and you can play like a zombies game, but if they scratch you, you'll actually kind of feel it. So Elon Musk's idea is that as long as you have even a 1% improvement in technology year per year, over the course of 1,000 years, 10,000, 100,000 years, as long as we don't go extinct, eventually it comes to a singularity where VR technology will get so good that it's indistinguishable from reality.
I was about to
And
say.
if it's fully indistinguishable, then how do we not know, or how do we know that we're not in a simulation right now?
Yeah, what is
hold on,
reality? If
on-
you're able to go somewhere else and feel and look and touch, you know?
Well, on
Damn, that's
on
crazy.
top of
I
that,
didn't think about that.
The explanation on top of that is like if you think about how many potential options there are for this being the reality, either you are one of the hundreds of like infinite amount of instances where you did discover that technology and you do have fully simulated life, or you're the one species that has not yet, you're either the bottom or you're one of the infinite top.
Yep.
And so because we, to our knowledge, don't have this technology, what's more likely that we are that very bottom piece or that we're the only experience ever?
Right. Because it's kind of like the chances of that are infinity to one.
Infinitely less. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either
So-
you're that one species that
and-
figured it
and-
out first and then everyone else figured it out after you.
Also,
or you're the first one.
There's this idea that there's a lot of values in physics that are very randomly assigned. Like the speed of light is exactly what it is, but why is it exactly that speed?
Who decided
It's almost like you can narrow it down to the closest
Yeah.
meter per second. Why is it that speed exactly? Like there's other certain values in physics that it's like you don't ask questions, but this value is 2.4134. And pi is exactly this value. It's like, well, why exactly is that? And a hypothetical explanation would be these are predetermined in a VR computer, and you are. I know it sounds out there, but just
no, it really
open your mind
actually.
for a second.
It really doesn't.
Some Matrix type shit.
Yeah.
Where you're in a pod and you have VR goggles on, you have a full suit on, and you think that you're in this reality, and because the technology is so fucking perfect, it's actually indistinguishable from the real world that you live in.
You can't die.
When we do die, we just take the mask off.
Yeah, you're like, oh fuck, that shit was crazy, bro.
You spawn.
Yeah. So
have you ever done psychedelics? You ever want to talk about that?
Yeah, man. I've done acid 4 or 5 times. I've done DMT and.
Have you blasted off?
Wow.
How much did that change your perspective on life?
You know what? If I'm gonna be honest, I think the weed and acid changed it more than the DMT did.
In a positive or negative way?
In a positive way.
Positive way, yeah.
Perspective.
Yeah,
right?
Perspective, outlook on life,
appreciation,
just appreciation.
Gratitude,
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
crazy.
But DMT was really, really, really strong.
You did that one time,
I've done it twice.
and
So did you have a complete out of body experience?
The first time I struggled to break through because it was so strong, and you got to let go, and I couldn't let go. I was like, this is so strong. I'm like, I just didn't want to do it, so I couldn't take my final toke. So I let back for a bit, but the second one, I was out cold for about 6 minutes.
And so what I've heard, because I've never broken through, but I've tried it out of a vape before, and I had I got right to the point where it was going to break through, extreme closed eye visuals, but I was never able to break through. But what I've heard is that you can still hear everything, but you kind of almost ignore the noise in the room because you're having a complete out of body experience. Were you still able to hear everything that was going on in the room?
I was in a really I could vaguely hear the music that was in the background, but everyone was pretty quiet. Everyone was pretty much just like, let's watch this dude.
Was it just you? Were you with
there was
other
3
people?
guys. There was 3 of us, so we took it in turns. One watcher, and then I mean both of us were just staring at him like, okay, is he still breathing? Is he still breathing? And then they wake up.
6 minutes.
Yeah, 6-7 minutes.
How long did it feel?
Wait. What time does it say on that?
1:35.
1:35. I'm gonna take a pee break, but I don't want to miss this conversation. Okay. So can you all just take a break?
Yeah, for sure. All right, what do you got for a question? Well, actually, no. I
just wanted to hear about the breakthrough experience.
Yeah. And how long you felt like you were there for?
It felt timeless. It's very difficult to put a time frame on it. I don't know if you've ever taken like acid or anything. Time slips. Like you don't look at your phone, and then you look at your phone. You're like, what? It's been 3 hours.
Yeah.
Especially
but
on
it's
acid.
6 minutes.
So
or you look at your phone and you think it's been 2 hours. It's been 10 minutes. Yeah.
Like, oh shit. You know what I felt like? As you said, everything closes down. You start to get those visuals, and I put my head back in the pillow to that final token. I describe it like a slingshot. I felt like I got pulled back into that pillow, and then you just boom, someone just lets you go through it, and you just come through that like wormhole of whatever it is, blackness, darkness, and you just come through into this something that's almost indescribable. What you're seeing, colors, patterns, geometrics, and I heard a lot of voices when I went through. Almost, and people call them like the elves, right? Because they're like singing and dancing, and it was like
sounds crazy.
And they're like singing and dancing to me. They're like, "Welcome." And it was like and it just kind of went on like intermittently, and you go through this experience. Like it's quite hard to remember, like still because it happens quite fast, and 6 minutes you're like, "Oh man!" Also, it was a good 4 or 5 years ago.
Would you say it felt very real while you were in it? Because I've heard some people say that
it has to be real. Like it has to be real. Like
but some people also say that it feels more real than real. Yeah. It's like, did you not get that?
I've always been, whenever I've taken any like extracurricular drug or recreational drug, whatever it be, Molly and anything, like I've always been very conscious that I'm under the influence.
Right.
So I've been like, I know why I'm feeling like this right now.
Yeah.
If you're in a bad trip, in a bad way, I don't know if anyone listens been in that position. Hopefully not. This is no advice. If you've been in that position, you're in a bad way. Like I've always been pretty good at putting myself back and being like, yo, you're just in this place right now. Yeah. So for me, I kind of just knew I was under the influence.
Yeah.
But other people, I've heard the same.
So why did you feel like acid and weed changed you more? Because for me, weed is actually a very strong psychedelic.
Yeah.
That's why I don't smoke a lot when I smoke. Because it only starts to get to that point if I smoke a lot. So if I just want to chill and relax, I'll just take a couple puffs, but I would say that I've noticed the same. Not that I've broken through with DMT, but I think weed is a very powerful psychedelic to some people, and it's overlooked.
I agree. I think potentially just the strength. Like, you don't get whacked in the face. You can just take your little bit. You can have your experience. And you can adjust your experience to what you want out of the day. You know, you want a little bit more, you take a little bit more. You get a little bit higher, you get a little bit higher. You don't want to, you can leave it.
With DMT, it's either you're here or you're blasted off.
Yeah. You know, and that's it. It's go or stop. So, damn. And you're locked in. And same with acid. Like, once you put that tab under your tongue, for 10 minutes.
See ya.
You're done for 10 hours. You're in, you know.
But still, you can control how strong you want it to be, because if you know the dosage.
Unless you're taking too much, and then you're in.
Yeah.
And then, you're strapped in. Yeah. That happened to my friends in college. My buddy got acid for them. It was 2 of them. And he brought back like 16 tabs. And it was for a lot of people. And they took all of it. They took 8 each. What? And then the guy came back in the room. He's like, where's the rest of the acid? And like, oh, we took it. He's like, all right, well, where's the rest of it? And he's like, no, we took everything. We thought that was for us. He's like, you guys just both took 8 tabs.
Wow.
And he's like,
800 micrograms.
And he's like, all right, I'm going to close and unlock the door. And you're not leaving here. And they were tripping for like 24 hours.
Yeah, easy.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I remember one time I got tabs. I thought they were 100. And just judging, I don't have any direct confirmation of this, but I've tripped a fucking handful of times. So I think they were 200 each, because I took 2 of them. And shit was moving for about 12 hours. Like, it was really strong. And I was I've never had a bad trip with acid, but I was on the border of, like, I can't control my own thoughts. Damn. Like, this shit is just too intense. It's about 400 micrograms.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Have you guys done it?
No.
Harry LT?
I've just done shrooms. No,
just shrooms?
I just recently, it sounds crazy saying this on a podcast, but we tried shrooms. And now I would say, like, I'm an advocate for them. Like, it's almost like I want everyone to experience what we experience. Like, people who've done shrooms before. Like, it's like you guys gotta check this out. Like, I know it sounds crazy to say that, but
what you're really saying is you want to check yourself out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you learn about yourself. So it's like,
dude,
you're
100%.
like, yo, you should do shrooms. It's
we talk about it all the time. Like, it's almost like you get like a greater appreciation for everything in your life, like everything, and it's really cool. Like you can't explain it unless you try it.
Josh, remember the first time you did it? Was it shrooms? Was it acid? Acid for the first time.
Same.
Yeah. How different?
I've never done any of that
first time change any sort of like understanding that you had?
Yeah, that had a pretty big impact. Like you said, like, you that appreciation for everything.
Yeah.
You get that, like, oh, we're actually connected.
Yeah.
This is all one. This is that feeling where, you know, there's no lines here. We're all meant to just be like this right here.
Yeah. You know what's crazy about that is you can hear someone say that, and that's one thing, listening to it and processing it, and it's another thing to actually feel it.
Yeah.
Because when you go and you feel that, you're like, wait, like this feels real. I don't hear this. I'm not thinking about this. I feel it. Yeah. And that's why it makes a difference, right?
Agreed.
Yeah. Like,
I would say mushrooms are more inward focused, and acid is more outward focused in a way. It's like I've done both, and I feel like acid is much more of a grand experience. Like,
that's interesting.
I don't know how else to explain it, but it's much more like grandiose. Yeah. Like, you're hardly looking inward, you're more looking outward at the world, and you're seeing things that you would never otherwise see. But with mushrooms, is more inward. Who am I? What am I doing? Yeah. You know,
what
it's
about
more
like
about me.
The whole ego death thing? When people talk about that,
You gotta take a lot for that.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think I've ever really had one. I think any psychedelic you take is going to break down your ego. And I think it's just a spectrum. And once you cross over a certain point on the spectrum, people will start to call it ego death. But everyone's point on the spectrum is a different spot. Yeah. Some people will say a 9 out of 10 that's ego death. Some other people will say a 6 out of 10. I think if you take a lot of psychedelics, like if you take a big dose, you're going to feel your ego dissolution regardless. So I wouldn't get too tripped up in the terminology and be like, did I experience it or not? I think that's mostly just like people who take acid lingo, you know? Yeah. Oh, bro, you didn't have an ego death though. It's like, who the fuck cares?
Random question. What are your thoughts on Andrew Tate?
Oh wow, top G, yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
He got a Bugatti.
Yeah. Exactly.
What color is your Bugatti?
What's your take on that whole, like, what do they call it, blue pill or red pill or somewhere?
I understand what he's doing.
From a business perspective,
he's very, very smart.
He took over social media.
Yeah.
I think
so that's all it is.
I think it's just that. I think it's just that, like, he's just killing it. It's just a style of marketing that no one's ever done. That he's just killed it.
Yeah.
And like, you know what? Like, he speaks sense. Yeah, okay. He edges it to get the reaction.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He talks a lot of sense a lot of time.
Yeah.
He's about it. Shut the fuck and get on with it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. People have always said, like, you don't know his real views. He just like watches actual podcasts and he spits a lot of facts. And I'm sure that's true. But at the end of the day, if you put yourself out to the masses as the way he has, that's
super
how people
extreme,
are gonna. That's how people are gonna perceive you, and you have to accept the consequences of that.
Some things he says obviously are like,
but
all right, relax.
Yeah.
But like, he does say facts. But
that's the genius of the business, though.
Yeah.
Because what he does is the podcast might make total sense even to us, but a lot of what he says is so ridiculous that that's the stuff that gets shared and people look into it. And then if you really get into it, then you're like, all right, it makes sense. But bro, my family sent me one the other day where he was basically, he said, invite all your friends to your house, pour them all sparkling water, say cheers to us. And then anyone that says, what's with this water? It's sparkling. He said, don't talk to them ever again. That's just, it's nonsense. But like you see that, you laugh at it, you're like, who the fuck is this guy? And then you go
that's why it's
consume his
viral.
content.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Dude, he said he doesn't,
it's business.
he doesn't hold hands with his girlfriend in public.
Yeah.
Because like self-defense.
Like,
I'm like, bro, it's not that serious.
Exactly. But that's it.
Gotta stay ready.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm like, all right, dude. Like, it's not
I think he's a genius. I think it's business all day long.
he's killing it. Is he going through like scandals right now and shit?
I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure.
Always.
He said.
No, so I'm not gonna. I'm like. I heard like
but it's just
trafficking
funny
and
because
shit, like,
my mom listened to one of the podcasts or something.
Of him.
And or no, of me. And he mentioned it on the podcast, something like that. And she tried sending me screenshots like debunking him, and I'm like, Mom, I'm not a fucking, I don't listen to this guy. Like, I was just answering the question.
Either,
But one of the screenshots she sent was he said, I moved to Thailand or whatever. Well, I think it was Thailand. Not because he's like, he literally said, I'm not a rapist or anything, but I just like having more sexual freedom. And it's like, he's like, the age of consent there is lower.
Some things you don't.
It's like, all right, you're clearly just saying that because you want clicks. You know what I'm saying? And like, there was, I think he went on the Barstool Sports podcast, and he was saying
BFFs.
Yeah, and he was saying it was the one with Dave in it.
Yeah.
And he said like, if a girl does OnlyFans, you deserve a portion of her money from that because you own her in a way. And Dave was like, what do you mean you own her? He's like, I'm not saying I own her. I just mean like she's mine, you know, like I have her.
That's
so
crazy.
It's like, bro.
He
like,
can't actually think
did
like
you hear
that.
his story?
That's
Like,
not-
he used to run like those like chat room things.
Yeah, like Babe Station.
Yeah, so he was like the guy, and then he had all these girls working under
He's
him.
like the pimp?
Yeah, and he was the one typing.
Yeah,
so they were just
he'd
sitting
reply
there,
to him.
and he was like, he's like, yeah, daddy, and it's just a girl, and he's the one typing over here on the side.
And should
That was his whole, like,
have a fake keyboard.
Ooh.
Wow.
That was his whole like
And then
thing.
he'd be doing it 'cause
It's online. I'm not like
That's
making that shit
genius.
up.
I think that was the Nelk podcast actually. He was saying.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was the Nelk
That's
podcast. Yeah,
But
that was a good. That was a funny ass podcast. I'm not gonna
it was actually Cody Co. It was Cody and Noel. They do a podcast.
Goat.
Tiny Meat Gang podcast. Shout out. And
Fucking love
Noel,
Cody, bro.
Yeah, so do I. And Noel was saying that there's been plenty of people like Tate in the past. He's not the first of his kind. This kind of like inspiring traditional masculinity or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just that he says shit that's so outrageous that like he's getting the most attention right now.
Mm-hmm.
But there's been plenty of Andrew Tate types that have come and gone over the years.
Yeah.
And like this is not any sort of new thing. There's always going to be a desire for that, like, give me back traditional
Yeah,
masculinity.
he brings
you
up
know?
like kings and queens. Like anyone's even thinking about like.
But
anything
you know,
about that.
if he's the businessman that we think he is, like he'll adapt and evolve. Like he knows like this is a short-lived thing, right? Like 6 months, 8 months, maybe he's got in the limelight, and so he's gonna diversify, change up his content. Like that's.
Did you see he actually called out Derek More Plates More Dates in the
Did he really?
podcast?
Why would you not?
Did he really?
Why would you
Yeah,
not? Like why wouldn't you
but,
pick fights
I mean,
with
it
everybody
wasn't-
that's got a platform like that?
It wasn't a super fight, but Derek basically kind of called him out for being a fake natty, but not really. He just kind of did a breakdown on it, and it was like 4 months ago. And then Tate came out and mentioned him, and it's like, yeah, every little base you can cover, like I've mentioned this person, and you go after everyone. It's like you're gonna get so many fucking eyes on you, it's not even funny. But someone else asked, has bodybuilding ever affected your love life / relationships?
Definitely.
Yeah. How's that?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty difficult. So, especially when you've got a partner who's not in bodybuilding.
Yeah.
You know, and trying to fathom that 6 months of your life might be switched off, and just kind of got to hit a button. You got a one-track mind, and trying to drive that focus is very difficult to balance. Finding that, there's sacrifices. We're not eating out. We're not going here. We can't do that for a long period of time.
Right, half a year.
So you got to do. Well, at least for me, it was about doing my due diligence to in the 6 months that we can do stuff, let's make the most of it, and try and do that. So yeah, 100%, big impact. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
I think that's a hard question to ask because like when you commit to bodybuilding, that is your life now. That is your lifestyle. So that's like to say that anything you do forever is going to affect your relationship. Of course it is. Of course it is.
Yeah.
As of any sport, I think.
Have you had girlfriends, or just people that you're talking to ever get worried that you don't love them anymore? Like I had, like you're losing feelings.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because you do. Because you freaking do.
Yeah. I describe it as like you become a shell of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're still there, but you just deep within that shell.
Especially those last 4 weeks.
And what's going to bring you out? My meal.
Yeah.
And I'm going back in.
Yeah.
And then my
I'll be
sessions,
nice to you for 10 minutes while I eat this meal.
Yeah.
and that's the reality of it.
Carbs.
So,
Rice.
if you can't handle those periods of time, you just got to recluse even more. Like, that's the only other option. Or you act out and you be like a lot of
Fucking
guys
dick.
do.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
Is it worth it to you? Obviously, right?
Everything
Hell
Isn't that
yeah,
crazy?
baby.
Isn't that
Hell
crazy? What
yeah,
you're describing and saying, yeah, fuck yeah, it's worth
I
it.
think it's because you have balance. Like you just had a happy dad. You know what I'm saying? But
I did just have
at the same time, you'll go in a shell for
And
6
about
months.
10
You know what I'm saying?
shots of
So
tequila.
you have that good balance where you go hard for
Yeah,
the prep, and then all right, now I'm gonna chill out, and then you have that switch. Like, all right, I'm gonna lock back in, and then
Yeah.
as long as you have that discipline, like it's not like so hard.
That's unique to bodybuilding, though. That's so unique to bodybuilding.
And also, even while you bulk, I mean,
Having
you're
that
bulking
switch.
for the vast majority of the year.
Yeah.
Even Kyle tells me like 70% on plan is good.
Yeah.
If you take 30% and kind of do your own thing, as long as it's within
Yeah.
reason. If you want to go get a steak at a steakhouse with some fries rather than eating the steak on the
Good
meal
for
plan,
the brain,
go
bro.
for it.
Yeah.
While you're bulking, so it's like as long as you can make your quality of life only go down while you're cutting, then that's only 12 weeks out of the year rather than 40 plus weeks out of the year. But there's some people that want to do like the same meals every day, and they just kind of become very one-dimensional. They never drink, they never go out. I'm not saying you have to drink alcohol, but they never just even
need
when
that
Kyle
balance,
when Kyle was here, he's like, it was Sush and a couple of you guys, there was someone else outside smoking.
Yeah.
And he came up to me and he's like, yo, can I go smoke with them? I'm like, yeah, go ask them, bro. So it's like he's not getting ready for a show, so he's just gonna kind of, he went out for a cheat meal with us after our meal.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing. And the people that get too sucked into like every single gram has to be weighed, it's like, dude, you're a human on this earth that has a life to live.
Miserable.
Right? Like,
It's not. You enjoy like the basic things in life. Like you can't even have a conversation with someone because you're so just depleted and like
waiting for
miserable.
my 5th meal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Dude, you have so many questions there.
Yeah.
Dude, I know.
A question that we talked about right before we started was you said you have your own podcast and you've done 100 episodes by yourself, roughly.
Yes.
How do you what do you
That's
talk
insane.
about, bro? What do you talk about for 100?
Is that even a podcast?
First episode.
It's just like
Yeah.
vlogging.
How do you do
It's
that?
like a monologue.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Like
Yeah.
I used to pick topics. I'll do a Q&A. I like kind
How long?
of use it a little bit of therapy sometimes.
Okay.
I find it quite easy to talk in a room with myself to do those things. I've done both sides. We actually have another podcast. There was 3 of us. One of them obviously sitting over there as well. And I find the single one a little bit easier.
Yeah.
I want to get better at being in joint podcasts where you can have an open conversation and you can bounce off people. But I found the single one quite easy. I could talk for 45 minutes, an hour on my own.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah.
People listen.
Well, you just have like a topic
People
or 2 or
listen.
3 ideas and you just, of
Yeah.
course, and you just go for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like
fire.
obviously, sometimes it'd be like completely bodybuilding. Sometimes we'll talk about mental health. Sometimes we'll talk about just what's going on, how to do a business. I'm very like big into finance and doing well with your finances and setting yourself up for the future. Talk about that stuff. So
Just
ramble
genuine
on.
good
And
advice.
people listen. So
That's
I'll
dope.
keep doing it.
You on YouTube?
Yeah,
Spotify?
YouTube, Spotify,
Bridging the Gap, you said?
Bridging the Gap, and Off the Cuff. That's another one.
cool.
You got to get away for those. They're both
Very
good.
cool.
That's fire. I love podcasts.
This is pretty simple. What's your favorite food? Off season, of course, when you can eat whatever the fuck you want.
Probably Thai.
Thai?
I like Thai food.
I just want a fucking burger with fries, man.
Probably Thai.
Yeah, I'll say pizza.
Asian persuasion.
Thai food's fire. Thai food's fire.
This guy asked blondes or brunettes on both accounts, so he really wants to know the answer. Blondes or brunettes?
Brunettes.
Brunette, same.
I think every single
A man
one
of culture.
Yeah.
I think every single one of my girlfriends has been brunette.
Yeah, I think
I take
so
it back.
too.
I take it back.
It's eye color for me.
Yeah. What, you like dark features?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like both.
I think blonde
I
with
like
lighter eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nah,
that's pretty dope.
That's my ex-girlfriend.
I mean, but dark eyes is cool too. Anyway, so this guy also asked on both accounts: Is natty bodybuilding actually natural? And I assume he means with all of the extra things that are allowed.
Okay.
No, I mean, yeah.
Like supplements.
Like
protein,
you can take
like
clen and be natural. You
No,
can.
No, no, you
Yeah,
can't.
you can. Yeah, 100%.
If you're in a drug
I
tested
don't think so.
federation, is it WADA?
Water, yeah.
Oh, then you're fucked. You can't even smoke weed, bro.
Yeah, you can't take
I
weed.
would say the natural
Yeah.
bodybuilding is actually natty, but
And,
also
yeah.
he could be talking about something that Derek has talked about a lot, and Greg Doucette, how easy it is to avoid
Drug
detection on a drug test.
I think like 99% of people who do natural bodybuilding are natural because
Yeah,
you
if you're
don't
gonna
even
take it.
win anything.
Yeah,
You
might
don't
as
win
well
anything
take
as a
it.
pro.
Yeah.
You win like
Yeah.
$1,000.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
why would you do it?
Yeah.
Like,
You can
what?
tell.
Is your ego that big?
Yeah.
For
You want
some
to just
natural
win for
bodybuilding,
like $500
it's
bucks.
surely
In
not.
in OCB, the where I competed, if you win, like you get your pro card, you have to pee like right off the stage.
Yeah.
You literally walk off and they're like, "Here you go,
Yeah.
do that
cup."
sometimes.
And
Dude, that was the
See?
same with powerlifting.
Yeah.
IPF Worlds, as soon as I got off the stage, they're like, come here.
yeah,
Take your
and
dick
people
out.
fell, and it's like, why the
Like-
fuck did you do all that just to fucking
Yeah.
like
To
fuck
win,
around?
bro.
Like,
Yeah, there was some guy at IPF Worlds 2 years ago, and they popped him for a bunch of shit. It was a bunch of short acting stuff like Winstrol, some SARMs.
you probably
And
still would
he
have
said he
won
he,
without it. Like,
he went with my protein powder was spiked with it.
All of it.
That was legitimately, yeah, all that shit. There was S4 in there. There was fucking Osterine. Oh yeah, it was my protein powder. So it's like, it kind of sucks because I see the allure towards natural bodybuilding or natural powerlifting. If that's the road you want to go down, the last thing you want is to know that you're competing against people who are just completely unfairly
Yeah, what was that?
enhanced.
And when they just went off.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
You take
we've been
DMT.
talking for a minute, so one of our cameras just died, so we're probably going to wrap up this podcast here. But
Yeah.
thank you guys for watching, and thank you, Josh, for coming on the podcast.
Appreciate
It's
it.
been a
Hospitality.
pleasure. It's been a lot of fun. I'm definitely done with the tequila. Did we finish this thing off?
Did you thank your sponsors? For
Yeah,
the,
one more in there.
Sponsors for the video.
Oh, yeah. And, Anabar code MOG supports me and Sush. That's a 50/50 code. And then Gorilla or Young LA, you can use our own individual codes or these guys' codes right here, Joe and
Yeah.
Harry. So,
Thank you guys.
yeah,
Appreciate it.
thank you, Josh, for coming on.
Thank you, man.
Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. It was basically just us being drunk and shooting the shit. So,
Yeah.
that's going to wrap it up. And Sush will be back on Sunday or something like that. So, next
Yeah.
podcast he'll be back on. And, yeah, peace out.
Peace.